Welcome, NorCal Sports Network. Giants are done. We're done. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. That would be kind of nice. I mean, hey,
cool.
The Giants don't show up. Why should we?
30-second show.
That would be, hey, I mean, geez. I'm trying to find something. We got officially eliminated. Are we sure they're officially eliminated? Has it been?
So I've heard. I've seen a few people say it in the chat.
I want to hear it from because I
remember hearing yesterday they had a win out.
Because if the Cubs lost and they got 82, what happens if Miami, Cincinnati, and the Giants and the Cubs all tie with 82 wins? I know it's not going to happen. It's a 1 in a billion shot, but are they really officially eliminated since we put that
Pavlovich
tweet
said
out?
They're not technically eliminated.
I knew it.
Pavlovich should be eliminated himself.
They should.
I don't think they're officially eliminated. They own some of the tiebreakers.
Yeah, they can officially be eliminated from the playoff race tomorrow.
Well,
Pavlovich said that?
Well, whatever.
I gotta cancel my tweet, man.
Cancel the tweet.
Doggone it. My staff. My staff is making me. Oh, shoot.
Oh, man. Well, whatever. We're out in front. We've been out front all month or all year, right? So
delete post. There we go. My staff crunching numbers, making. I'm like Gabe. Come on, Kai! You're making me look like an idiot out there.
I didn't know.
The ball was. They said it touched Flores' glove.
I didn't know.
Oh man, get away from me.
Oh my gosh. NBC Bay Area reporting that they are eliminated.
Huh?
NBC Bay Area reporting that they are eliminated. Senior says that's right.
They were eliminated in July. Just nobody wanted to admit it.
They might be eliminated. I don't know. Whatever. Who gives a crap? We know they're done, but I just don't want to put anything out there that says something.
Andrew Baggerly says they cannot catch Arizona. Best they could do is tie Chicago, who holds tiebreaker. And based on every 3 or 4-way tiebreaker scenario involving the Cubs and Giants, I can conjure there's no possibility for the Giants to advance. They've been eliminated.
Eliminated! We're right!
We're right.
Come on, get out of here, Kaplan. Get out of here.
What's with Pavlovich saying they're not eliminated?
I have no clue.
Well, there you go.
But I thought if Cincinnati, Chicago, and Miami, they hold the tiebreakers over Cincinnati and Miami, but not Chicago. So if they tied with Chicago beat them head to head. But what about if they have a 4-way tie, 3 or 4-way tie?
Then San Diego would get in, right?
No, San Diego. Well, San Diego could. No, they can't tie San Diego and the Giants because they can't both get to 82 wins because they play tomorrow, and one of them will get their 81st loss tomorrow. So the 82 is the number that the Cubs are in the 3rd spot with 82 wins. Technically, the Giants can get to 82. So can Cincinnati, and so can Miami. So I don't know how this works. I just remember the Giants.
I don't think it matters with Cincinnati and Miami, though. Because no matter what, the Cubs have the tiebreaker over the Giants. So
yeah, but what if it's a 4-way tie?
Then I think it's just mathematically like the Cubs. I think do the Cubs have the tiebreaker over Miami and Cincinnati?
I don't know. It whatever. We'll call it that they're eliminated.
They're eliminated.
I mean, emotionally, they were eliminated in Colorado. What do we got here? Look at the Farhan jab. What's he referring to there?
Don't know.
Oh, here we go. Follow up. I don't hear anything. I see something. I wonder if we could. Giants officially, by the way, nice third inning. Another mental breakdown. Pathetic. Oh, wait. It's just a pick. I'm getting text left and right here while I'm live, so I don't know what's going on. Glass half full.
Oh, look at that.
999. Thank you. Glass half full. Thank you, Dan, for your eloquent defense of Larry, unfairly called a racist. I used to like Baggerly, but not anymore. Man, most of these beat writers don't ask tough questions.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate situation there.
Yeah, I see what it says right there. It says right at the bottom of the – it says Giants fall 4-0, eliminated from playoff contention.
Oh, okay. Well, they're eliminated. Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
get
they're
that on
eliminated.
Twitter. I deleted the tweet, whatever. We'll but thank you, Glass Half Full. Appreciate that. So what do you guys think? I mean, we can't really beat this thing into the ground much further than we've done for the last 3 months. So let's wrap up on the Giants rather
Oh, did you even
quick.
bring up that super chat, or are you waiting a little bit on that one?
Which one?
The $10?
Yeah, I already did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Bora, what do you think?
Well, should I just talk about like the whole season? Just wrap it up into
Wrap it up in a do a what do they call it? A condensed do a what they used to call that in school? It's been years. Do a what the heck they call those things when you
Synopsis,
no, not a synopsis.
summary.
Yeah, but they used to call them used to write a little, I can't remember what the heck they were called, man.
conclusion.
Thesis.
No, not a thesis. It was a little like a word what they call them?
An essay?
An essay, or write a little
Conclusion.
essay. Or there was something else. I thought there was something like a little, like third grade. They used to tell you, or fourth grade, write a
book report?
a book report. There we go. Thank you. I couldn't remember it, man. It's been ancient times, man. We're talking prehistoric.
To
Book
Nick J.
report. Thank you, Nick. I was like, what the heck? I remember writing these little book reports, and you get these big little letters, and you're writing in between the big pages, with the little dots on the big. I could probably pull out some of my schoolwork.
Yeah. I mean,
give us a book report. Give us a book report on the essay book. I mean, no thesis, please.
It's been a disappointing and boring season. It's just that's just what it is. There hasn't really been much hope, not much enthusiasm, not much joy, not much happiness. I mean, it's really been sort of gray the whole season. They've just been mid the entire season. I mean, there's nothing you can say. I think what you can really look towards and is the young kids, but just I have this bad feeling that Kapler is going to be the scapegoat, and I think it's really coming to fruition. I think we can all agree that Farhan is the bigger problem. Right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Farhan's the bigger problem, but I think.
But the problem is, that's logical that they'll probably use them as a scapegoat, but they both have to go.
No, they do have to go. But I think what you're seeing now is it's all these reports about the clubhouse morale and how Kapler's lost the team. It's all about Kapler. It's not. Right. I think they're using him as a scapegoat, and they're just gonna. They might hire like an interim manager for next year, and give Farhan one more shot.
I don't think so. I
really hope they don't. But I think what they're thinking is we're gonna let Farhan's prospects and his young kids that he's drafted and he's developed. We're gonna see if they can play at the big league level, and if they can't, or if they have another midseason and miss the playoffs, then I think he's gone. I mean, I really hope that they're both gone. I'm begging it to happen, but I just feel like they're not going to do anything at the GM position, and they're gonna fire Kapler.
I think they might, because what Webb said yesterday, when you're talking about a culture, that goes straight to the top. That's not just in the clubhouse. That's going to go straight up to the top, because the person who put this clubhouse together was Farhan.
Hey, that remark or that remark by Webb, I believe, is straight to Farhan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's why he will be gone.
Hey, look at.
Could I see a scenario where they're going to use Kapler as the scapegoat? I could see that too. But
Kyle McKiernan, is he in the house?
Who?
Kyle.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in here yet.
I mean, I can definitely see Farhan being gone, but I just like with all the reports that have been coming out, have we really seen a report? Not just from Webb. Like Webb, yeah, I agree. That was a shot at Farhan in the front office, but have we really seen a report where something is directly at Farhan instead of Kapler? Because I feel like all like Slusser's article, Baggerly's article, all these new Danny Emmerman's article, they've sort of been directly at the clubhouse.
Verducci was straight at the club. It was at Farhan.
Verducci he's the only one, yes. And I don't know if I might be getting mixed signals just because the Bay Area media is talking about Kapler.
Hey,
but
I found a book report.
Are you kidding me? You keep this?
I don't know. My mother put me stuff in here. Look at that.
Well, look at that. It says you balance the smoke. I can't believe it. Even at that age, Dan, you're balancing the smoke?
This is hilarious. I didn't know this was even in here. It says, Dan Cochimilio, see how I have improved in writing since September. Now it is the month of April. Look at that.
Oh my God. No, that's classic right there. What are you doing?
Man,
You look at it?
That smells old. I mean, this is like 55 years old, man. Jeez.
Eddie K says that it looks like the Constitution.
Man.
That's a rough crowd.
That's a good one.
Signed by John Hancock.
Can you see that? You can't make that out, can you?
Barely.
Yeah.
How about the 10 Commandments?
Oh yeah, if it was on
there it is. They're on scrolls, man. There's the scrolls. I got the Dead Sea Scrolls right here, baby. Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh man, dude. That's his college thesis.
That's my college grad. Hey man, I was a sports editor back in high school. Look at this article. Who did I write this?
Hey, real quick, Dan, here's something. Wasn't this on 95.7 The Game? Talking about the report where Jock's been playing cards and having other vets join in instead of watching film on the next day's pitchers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
that 95.7? Is that what the source was?
I think so. Yeah. Where's the feather pen you used to write that, Dan? Yeah, exactly.
It was Flores, Estrada, and
got pissed off, right?
I don't. Do you guys?
That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that I could see Jock doing that. Look how out of shape he is. I mean, he's just.
I think he's sort of like a cancer to the locker room.
Yeah, remember how everyone said, "Oh, he's so fun. He keeps it. He's going to be a leader of the clubhouse type thing."
That's all he is. Fun.
Bull crap.
Hey, look at that.
Crap.
A write-up in the May 25th, 1979 high school paper. Vida McCovey. The wind was blowing gently through the docks along the bay. The baseball season was over, but one game still to play. 162 had passed, yet all had gone for naught, for the rival Giants and Dodgers finished knotted at the top. The Giant, oh man, it goes on and on. Hey, pretty good poem there.
Waxing poetic. Can't even get it out of my mouth.
I mean, it goes on and on. I don't want to bore everybody, but I was just kind of, that book report got my ADD going, got me thinking about the past here. Yeah, what do we got here?
Isaac Churchill chiming in saying, I am not shocked that a $20 million player who looks like he eats cheeseburgers for breakfast is interested in Filipino card games and playing ball.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the one that signed him?
I mean, the thing is, though, everybody, no matter your take on Farhan and Kapler, everybody knows that was a horrible contract to give out because he was not getting.
Yeah, it was dumb. I thought he was going to be gone. I didn't think he was going to come back for a damn $19 million paycheck.
They better not bring him back next year.
Oh gosh, that would be just. I mean,
I could see it happening. I could.
If we think what we think's going to happen, it ain't happening because it's.
If Farhan's back, then I could see him coming back. But if Farhan's gone, then I think you're not going to see any Slater, Yaz, Davis, or Jock.
Hey, I'm going to use one of Robert Rothberg's favorite words here. Jock is not the main issue, but it is indicative, Robert, of the type of team that Farhan put together.
It doesn't matter if it's the main issue. It's contributing to the main issue.
Hey, look at this, guys. The Talon. That's our January 18th, 1980. That was our school newspaper. I should have known back then I was going to be a financial guy. There I am. Can you read that?
No, I can't. Wait, the sports staffer Dan Coachimilio won a $15 dare to dive in the mud last Friday. Dan did 5 encores, including 2 head-first slides for the crowd before retiring the class.
I was raising money back then.
Oh my God. 1888.
1980. 1888. There you go. That was all. It had rained, and in the pod area, it was just solid mud. And it was like break time, and I said, "Hey, what do you guys give me if I do Pete Rose? You know, I just go headlong, just sliding into the mud." And it was they paid up, man. $15 in 1980 was a lot.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, man. That was probably like close to $100 today.
Probably, yeah.
In fact, so Eric, speaking of that, we could raise $300 in the chat if you would just shave your head and look like Farhan. Come on, Bora.
He's going to be gone. He's going to be gone.
Bora, you want to do it?
No. No.
Los and I, it's too late, man.
You're too late.
Hey, I'll take $300 to get a little bit of this off.
Hey, I shaved mine today. How's it look?
Look
a little shorter around the edge. Kind of looks like, is that a double A egg or triple A egg? Large eggs or yeah. Oh man.
Man.
So yeah, Giants. Bora did his book report. You got a book report on the Giants season and going forward, Los?
Yeah.
I think I've said pretty much what I've needed to said over the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll just say they're who I thought they were. Remember last week when I did let's give each category a scale of 1 to 10. Remember I brought that up? Like their starting pitching, their bullpen, their speed, their power. So I did that on my own with myself months ago. And I just came up with those low numbers. And that just kind of told me this team is just not that good. The only reason they're hanging around was 1, their bullpen, and 2, baseball in general is mediocre. You have about 4 good teams and you have, maybe 2 great teams, 3 good teams, and the rest of them are just 500 baseball. And that's why they look better than what they really were. But
so what did you
cream rises to the top and crap settles at the bottom. And the Giants are right in the middle.
Yeah.
Floating.
So what
Right
did
in the
you
middle.
what did you say at the begining?
I said
the-
they are who I thought they were. They're exactly the team that I thought they were.
We just the Bears are what we thought they were.
Yep.
They're what we thought they were.
We let them off the hook.
We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bull? We played them in the third game. Everybody played 3 quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were. That's why we took the damn field.
We let them off the hook.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Classic.
Yes, classic. You remember that, Bora?
No.
That was a Monday night
Eddie Green.
game
Graham.
back in probably the late 90s, was it? Would you say? Mid
Something
90s?
like that.
Somewhere around there. Anyway, Arizona was winning big and playing Chicago Bears, who were coached by Mike Ditka, and they were, good team. And Arizona had them beat, and they blew it. And so he just kind of said, we knew what they were, but we let them off the hook.
They scored like a special teams touchdown and a defensive touchdown, like in the last 3 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
Laura, to pull a victory out of their ass.
Wow.
And
That
Arizona
was
had
07? Eddie K said that was 07? Gosh, it seems like it was longer, but I guess about 15 years ago. Wow. Interesting. What a time. So what's your synopsis, Eric?
I I hope this is the epitaph of Farhan and Kapler. This is what we needed to have change in this organization. They got to be done. I mean, can we handle another season with this type of baseball in San Francisco?
No, please. I probably will do if we have another season like that. I'll tell you what's going to happen. The NorCal Sports Network is going to be going AI. I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up. It's just going to be we're just going to have AI do the whole show, and it's going to go like, the Giants lost again. They did not get any runs, and Logan Webb got no run support in a tough 1-0 loss. The Giants had 3 hits. And Farhan says this is a playoff team. Mike Yastrzemski is the utmost professional, and we believe in this club with Austin Slater. Mitch Haniger will come around. He's on the IL right now. He will be back soon. I mean,
What's up, Eric?
What the heck? If these guys come back, I mean, you got to be an absolute moron to buy a ticket.
Right.
The thing that's so disappointing about this season is not that they didn't make the playoffs, not that they lost a lot of games. It's that when you were watching the game, there was no hope because Jock was playing every day, Slater was playing every day, Haniger was playing every day, Yastrzemski was playing every day, Crawford was playing every day, Wade was playing every day, J.D. Davis was playing every day, Wilmer Flores was playing every day, Michael Conforto was playing every day. Those guys aren't part of your future, and
Nope.
This season was a waste. Like
Total.
You got nothing done in this season. Maybe you got one thing done. You saw Patrick Bailey, and he's going to be a really good player in the future. That's one thing that you got done. Other than that, what did you really solidify towards next season? You don't know if Luciano is going to be a player.
Don't know.
You don't know if Kyle Harrison is going to be a player. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. They have so many question marks on this team going into next year, and it all could have been avoided. It could have been avoided if you had just played them. If you had been like, you know what, this isn't our year. We're not going to make the World Series. We might make the playoffs but you know what? We're gonna eat it, and we're gonna play the young guys so we can be better for the future. And they didn't do that, and that's ultimately gonna be why Farhan and Kapler go, because they didn't play their young kids, and there was just Who enjoyed watching this team this year? Like, less than 10%,
I only enjoyed it
think.
when Matos had just come up and
Exactly.
Schmidt had come up
Schmidt
and
and
Bailey.
Luciano.
Because those guys can give you excitement. Those guys give
Yeah.
you hope. If you're not playing them, who wants to watch Jock Peterson play beer league baseball? I mean, let's be honest. No one. Who wants to watch Mike Yastrzemski and Austin Slater go on the IL 4 times for the same injury? No one wants to watch that. People want to watch good professional baseball, exciting baseball being played. Who gives that to you? The young guys give that to you. The young guys give that to you. And Robert, yeah, I did pick the Giants to win the division. You know why? Because I thought Luciano, Matos, and Schmidt were all going to be major contributors. That's
It looked like
the
they
reason why
might
I
be,
picked
and
that.
they pulled the plug on them
They pulled the plug on them.
in favor of veterans who are worse hitting wise than those rookies.
I mean, I like what Senior had to say in the beginning of the season, saying, it's not even about the playoffs. It's about playing the young guys and getting their experience. But we had neither. We neither had a playoff.
Yeah, that's why Boris said it's a wasted year.
It's a wasted year.
It was
it's
a complete wasted year.
It's dereliction of duty on behalf of Farhan and Kapler because they had the opportunity right in front of them.
It's malpractice.
And they blew it. They blew it.
Seriously. We
you
said
blew it.
Malpractice. What a word. Yeah. They totally, I mean, Gabe said this is the best roster he's had. Farhan said this is a World Series contender.
Yep.
They believed in this team. He said
Just
we're going to be making moves. They made no moves. This is a complete, just unbelievable hatchet job of running an organization. And if you don't you don't bring back people who made the mess to get out of the mess. They're not capable. It's like, how many times do you in a job, if you've ever had people work for you, do you continue to let somebody do something if they screw it up every time? You finally,
at some point, you just got to let go.
You let them go, or you move them into another position because they're over their heads, and you say, you know what? You're just not cut out for this part of the job. We're going to find something else for you to do. Just for Farhan to come back tells me that the owners could give a crap about winning, and it's all about trying to break even or make a buck. They can give a rat's ass about putting a winning team and a winning product out there. And I'll tell you what, I thought about this tonight. My motto has always been, root for the Giants and whoever the Dodgers, my two favorite teams, the Giants and who's ever playing the Dodgers, right? And I'm wondering, now I don't want the Dodgers to win the World Series, but I'm starting to wonder, do you think that the Dodgers let me ask it this way. If the Dodgers were to win the World Series legitimately, forget 2020, do you think that would light a fire under the Giants? Like say, hey man, we're just falling further behind. These guys are now not just making the playoffs, but they're winning the World Series. Or do you think it wouldn't matter a bit?
Wouldn't matter a bit to this organization.
Wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if they're not embarrassed that the Dodgers have won,
11 straight,
divisions?
10 out of 11 in division titles, 11 straight.
They're not
trips.
embarrassed by that, and like the sense of urgency isn't there, then it won't be.
I mean, where are the men? Where are the real men? I mean, gosh darn it. We need gosh, I'm drawing a blank in the movie Braveheart. Mel Gibson, we need somebody like that in the Giants front office that says, doggone it, I'm sick and tired of putting an inferior product in that team down south. My arch rival is kicking our butts. I don't want it anymore. I'm going to go find the best. Give me the best there is out there. Why do we go for Farhan Zaidi, who did nothing ever to win anything, and then Gabe Kapler, who's
just mediocre,
did nothing in Philadelphia, got his butt fired because the owner said this can't continue. And what has Philadelphia done since they fired Kapler? They're moving up. They're going in the right direction. Giants are going in the wrong direction. They bring these two guys back. I tell you what, they're going to set this franchise back another 5 years.
Could be. Yeah.
I
Real
mean,
quick, you got a couple of super chats. Hold on, real quick. You got a couple of super chats I want to get to. Hutch Serves Gaming, $10. Can we rip the Giants media personnel? Not only are the media narratives figureheads, but now they try to pin Larry as a racist. Disgusting. The Giants is a complete joke. You know, I'm gonna talk to this a little bit too. And you know what that was totally uncalled for by the Giants media. Yeah, Baggerly, I guess you could say it. It's totally uncalled for. What kind of level of professional journalism goes that route? When Larry said is, hey, where is the tough questions? Where are the follow-up questions? That's all he said. Not a big deal. And you're gonna come back with that? Come on. You know what? That's not. First off, that I'm not gonna even use that because that's ridiculous to even throw that word out. If you're frustrated, Baggerly, turn it around, and how about you start quit? How about you having that same type of anxiety or that anger towards the organization that you should be questioning? They're the ones putting the product out in the field. You're supposed to be reporting on it. You got a key player who's making quite a interesting comment on the future of this organization.
Key player, like the leader of the team.
Exactly. And then you just want to just gloss over it like it's nothing. Don't want to report on it, but then you want to go after Larry. I call bullshit. You know, you guys may have a different feeling. I mean, everyone can have their own opinion on how they feel about this, but I call bullshit. You know, you need to refocus that journalism type of attitude towards where it needs to be on the organization that you're supposed to be covering. All right, that's all I had to say. I wanted to get that off my chest because I didn't like what I saw about that earlier today.
It's just weak. It's really weak.
Oh yeah, it is. Glass half full, $5. Do you guys ultimately think Farhan and Kapler are gone, or only one of them is gone? I'm rooting for both to be gone. They don't deserve another shot.
Here's a 1984 Niners, Los.
Yep. I'm
back of the San Francisco. We may have that rematch this year.
Ooh.
Look at that. Dolphins.
You remember all the hype around Marino leading up?
Oh, yeah. They were going to kill the Niners. Huh. Yeah.
The quicker they cut bait, the Giants, the better. Like, as soon as the season's done, some players need to be cut, and hopefully we know who else needs to be cut. The longer they stay there, if we're going into November, if we're going into Thanksgiving, if we're going into Christmas and people are still around, they're sticking around. It needs to happen.
Oh, it needs to happen.
Like the noise is as loud as I've ever heard it across the board.
It needs to happen Sunday night.
Yeah. And you know what? You guys are saying that nobody's really saying anything. Wait until some of these players are officially not with the Giants anymore. Wait until they are officially not getting a paycheck from the Giants anymore. Watch what they say. It's going to be a cluster, you know what. A lot is going to come out. But they can't say it now. But wait until they're cut or traded or whatever, and they're not with the organization. A lot of stuff is going to come out, probably about Kapler, probably about the coaching staff, probably about Farhan, probably how players are used, everything. It's going to be really ugly, and ownership's going to have to deal with it.
Ownership's going to have to.
Yeah, we all said that this was there, and everybody was trying to sweep it under the rug and saying it didn't exist. And then and their little winning and their little 10, 12 games above 500 was mirroring that, you know, and hiding it. Now it's going to come out.
It's going to come out, and you know what? Ownership is going to have to get rid of Farhan and Kapler because you know what? They're not going to be able to sign any free agents.
Yeah, exactly.
Because no one's going to want to come here. They're gonna have to
No.
do a full rebuild if they want to be able to sign free agents. Because you know what? If they just get rid of Farhan and Kapler, there's still gonna be the coaching staff. And you know what? No one wants to play for that coaching staff. No one is gonna want to play for anyone associated with this regime. Anyone. They're gonna have to rebuild and retool everything.
And what about their whole season, the play, you know, that they're gearing up for Ohtani? How in the world are you going to go get Ohtani if you keep Kapler and Farhan? You don't.
It
You have
ain't
no.
happening.
I mean, you have very little shot, even if they go out and bring in somebody else. But at least you have a shot. Like if you went out and got Buster and say a Ned Coletti or what's the guy that just got who's out there, Epstein or
Epler.
no, what's the guy that did the Red Sox and
Yeah, Billy Epler.
Bloom.
Or
no
Chime
Theo Epstein.
Oh, Theo
The
Epstein.
Cubs. He's available. Theo Epstein. He's available. I mean, there's people out there that are true baseball winners that have, you know, put together winning franchises consistently. I mean, I think Mike Rizzo, I don't know what's going to happen with his situation with the Washington Nationals, but I know they've been under talk about being sold for a while. I would think that he might be available. But there's just so many people I mean, I wonder about the guy that was the general manager that got fired after the World Series with the Astros. They let him go.
I think they let him go because I think I read about this a little while back, but he wanted a multi-year deal, I think.
Right.
And they just their philosophy, I
deal.
think, is just 1-year deals. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. Epstein. Oh, no, not that Epstein. Yeah.
Avs on postgame show says they are eliminated. Now he.
You know what I heard today about the Padres? I think Bob Melvin might be fired. He's going to be the scapegoat. But I was over on some Padres Twitter or something where they were saying Bob Melvin had no say whatsoever, that the players would go over his head to the front office and the owners and just completely sort of ignore his managerial style. And he was pissed. There was an interview clip of him post-game yesterday saying how Hader can't go more than three outs or an inning.
Right.
He was pretty pissed.
I saw that last night, and they interviewed him.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. I think he's gone, and I think he would be a fine manager with the Giants because he played with the Giants, right?
He did for a little while. Yeah, he did. Him and Bob Brenly were together as the catcher and backup catcher. I don't understand how the Padres seem to have some rogue type players. There's something not right there.
I know it's like a sort of sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Machado, Tatis, Soto.
Yeah, you got the wrong group of guys there. You got talent, but they're not true winners.
I don't know if Soto's in there. Supposedly he was calling out a lot of the players. Supposedly.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe that's just Soto's style of play. He might be like super confident. But what I don't like is when he disagrees or when that whole team sort of disagrees with an umpire's call, they will show up the umpire. Like they will not hesitate to show him up. And it's like, yeah, the umpires aren't perfect. They don't make the best calls, but still got to respect them. They're still in charge.
Right. Exactly. Well, what do we got? What do we want to do? Do we want to keep going Giants? We want to get into some NFL.
Here's a little bit of an interesting controversial topic that is going on in a baseball group. So yeah, off the Giants, but sticking with baseball.
All right.
Somebody tweeted the statistics of Ken Griffey straight down with his face versus Ty Cobb. And the guy that posted it said Ty Cobb's a better player than Ken Griffey. Now, when I first heard that, my initial thought was, you're crazy. You know, Griffey's got him beat. And then I started looking at the stats.
Ty Cobb was a badass, dude. But
The thing that surprised me about Ty Cobb, 897 stolen bases to 184. Like he's murdering him. Now, again, whenever you get, you know, greatest running back of all time debates or this player versus this player or Eric versus Ayers, yeah, you're always going to get the pushback from people saying, well, Ty Cobb never played against, you know, he didn't play. He played in a segregated type of baseball. He didn't play against Latino players and Negro players, which is a valid point. But I was a little shocked at how much better stats, other than home runs, Cobb does have.
Well, because Cobb played in an era where the home run wasn't the biggest thing to do. It's about getting on base and doing damage.
Exactly.
And stealing, and they also.
I guarantee you, if Ty Cobb played in the field that we have today, I bet you he'd be putting up a lot of home runs.
Let me just kind of throw some numbers at you to see, because
I thought it was, when I first saw it, as like, oh, well, they're going to be close in a lot of stats. They're not.
this is what's shocking me. Total hits, Cobb 4189, Griffey 2781. He's got him by 1,400 hits. RBIs,
you would think Griffey has more RBIs. He was a 3 or 4 hitter. Cobb was like a 1 or 2 hitter.
Cobb hasn't beaten RBIs, 1,944 to 1,836.
Mm-hmm.
Stolen bases, like I said, 897 to 184. Batting average, 366 to 284. On base percentage, 433 to 370. Slugging percentage, Griffey with a slight lead, 538 to 512.
Because he hit more home runs.
Yeah. I mean, damn.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the guy that posted that.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, rest in peace, Brooks Robinson.
Yeah, I got that in the description.
Third baseman.
16 Gold Gloves. Man.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a Hall of Fame player. And people always talk about his glove. Naturally, 16 Gold Gloves. Not a bad hitter. Lifetime 267. Not great, but almost had 3,000 hits. I mean, what I'm saying is, like, a glove that spectacular and having pretty decent stats, like almost 3,000 hits, that's a lot. So,
hey, you want to talk about stats and history? You know how Los, you talk about batting averages? Check this out. I'm going through my stuff here. Sporting News, the best and worst in 1989. And we look in the back here, it's got the baseball, National League, American League. Let me take a look at this. National League club batting. Chicago Cubs led the league with a 261. Wasn't that great? 258 St. Louis, 251 San Diego, 250 San Francisco. But individual batting, the top 10 batters. Tony Gwynn won the batting title with 336. Will Clark, 333. Lonnie Smith, and a 315. Mark Grace, 314. Let's see. Guerrero, was that Pedro Guerrero with St. Louis? Did he play with St. Louis?
I think so, for a short time.
311. And then Roberto Alomar, 295. Walton, 293. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 300 hitters. In the American League, you had
this is why I like talking about the history of the game, because I respect the players of the past that paved the way and, quite frankly, had more talent than today's player and made a shitload of less money. than they do.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's sickening. And that's why last night when Larry was talking about analytics, I get it. It's here to stay. But I pushed back and said, well, why does it have to stay? Why?
Well, in the American League with the DH, all 10 top 10, the whole top 10 hit over 300.
Yeah, that's it. Boro, why does analytics have to stay?
It doesn't. It
if
shouldn't
we-
have to stay.
If we've pointed out about all its weaknesses, then why does it stay? I mean, to the point that it does, because I keep hearing, well, analytics does have a place. Like it is important in this and in that. And I'm trying to think, okay, where's analytics, like, where is it needed in baseball?
Here's
Like I
where
said.
here's where I think it's not necessarily needed, but it's a good tool to have.
Yeah. Good tool. That's a good word. Good phrase.
Is like sort of what's the percentage that you can win this challenge, and like the challenge system, sort of like, do I want to challenge it in this inning, or do I wait until the next inning or something like that? Honestly, I don't know where else it's necessarily needed. I hate seeing these stats online, like X ERA, X FIP. Like that's so useless. It's
Who
like
cares
no one
about-
cares what the expected run differential is, what the expected batting average is. The fact is he has a 300 batting average and he wins, right? No one cares if he has an expected batting average of 275 and his win-loss differential is supposed to be -5. No one cares about that. All people care about is the end result on the field.
Right now, when I watch baseball, the Baseball Network, and they talk about exit velocity. They talk about exit velocity. They talk about WAR. They talk about OPS. These are the three things when they're talking about players and hitters specifically. They talk about those three things. You know what they don't talk about? Batting average, RBIs, and runs scored. Stolen bases has kind of worked its way back because they got the bigger bags. But this is why I asked the question last night. And really, Dan kind of answered it. Eric did not answer it. I don't think Larry answered it, but I asked specifically, do you like the game more now than you did 20 or 30 years ago? It's an honest question. I would love the chat to hear that. For people that are older in the chat, do you like the game of baseball now? Forget about the Giants. Robert Rothberg, this does not apply to you because you don't watch any other team play. Anybody out there that watches the game of baseball, do you like this game now, or do you like it 20 or 30 years ago when it had speed, when it had hit and run, when it had strategy, when it had hunches? Or do you like this analytic game of going into your back pocket, looking about, oh, this guy pulls the ball out, I need to go over here a few steps? That's what's wrong with the game. It's become too much computerized. It's become too analytical. And that's why I'm pushing back on it. Why? Why does it have to be here?
Here's a question. Hey, Los, did you like it when Bochy was able to go to the bullpen after every batter?
Yeah. I like the mix and matching. That's a big reason why.
Isn't
he won
that
the World
kind of
Series.
analytical, though? If you're, hey, we got a lefty coming up, I'll bring a lefty in. Righty comes up, I bring right in a righty.
He brought in it is.
It's analytical, but it's also it's just kind of common sense.
There's
No, I
a
get
different
it. I
type of
understand.
analytical.
I think the one thing that has always been prevalent in baseball, I don't know if it's analytics or not, but you can pick any decade, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, and now. Left-handed hitters, for the most part, unless you're Tony Gwynn or Ty Cobb or Barry Bonds, left-handed hitters just don't hit left-handed pitchers, especially somebody funky like Javi Lopez.
Correct.
Now, right-handed hitters have hit right-handed pitchers for a century.
Same thing with left-handed batters.
Not so much. Right-handed batters do not get they're not freaking out when they see a right-hander come in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a lefty does a lefty. I don't know what it is, but just left-handed hitters have not done well against left-handed pitchers. So I do get that from an analytical point of view. But other than that, what good does analytics bring to the game?
Okay, hold on 1 second. Nick, you hit it on the head. The difference between Bochy and someone like Kapler, Bochy saw with his own eyes. He has a memory. He doesn't have to go to an iPad or a chart to go, oh, I wonder how this pitcher does it. He understood the game. He watched the game, so he knows what pitcher to bring in, which type of right-hander, which type of left-hander, whatever it may be. So it's a little bit different than going to a chart than, your manager actually knowing the game. But, Ned said something quite interesting a couple of days ago, saying he's not against analytics one bit. He's like, why would you turn down information? Isn't more information to be able to use better to plan with? Now,
Fair.
the issue I have, though, is what do you do with said information?
I think information is great, but when you rely upon it 100% of the time, that's where it gets to be a problem. When you have a guy that, like let's say, Yastrzemski doesn't hit well against this particular guy, so he keeps him out of the lineup. But what if he had gone like 6 for 10 in the previous 2 or 3 games? What if he's hot? Mm-hmm. In other words, when a player is hot, baseball is a long season. It's 162 games. I don't care how good you are. You're going to have slumps. It's just the nature of the game. And they're talking about exit velocity. You could hit the ball on the screws hard 4 straight times and go 0 for 4. And then a week later, you can hit a check swing, roller to third, beat it out, a Texas leaguer to right field, and that falls. That's the beauty of the game. That's what makes the game great, is you could do it perfectly and you still get out, or you could do it completely screwed up. Oh, check swing. Oh, it drops over the first baseman for a base hit. That's what makes the game great. And they're taking that part out of it because they're just looking at a computer and saying, well, he hits 225 versus this pitcher, so we better sit him down. But he's like really hot right now. I don't care. The stats say that he doesn't do good against this pitcher. That's the problem I have with it, is the statistics overlie, like somebody being hot, or conversely somebody being in a slump, And it goes beyond that. It's more than lefty righty. It's the positioning. It's the shift. The shift was a joke, and you know what? It's still a joke, because technically they say, well, you can have 3 infielders on one side, but that third infielder is practically like right next to second base.
Right next to second base.
The shift is a joke, but I mean, I'm looking at it from a defensive perspective, right? I completely understand it, because if a guy hits the ball 95% of the time through the 3-4 hole, right? Why would, as a defense, right? Why would you not just stand there and be able to get him out? And I think it all goes back to launch angle and hit the ball hard, not strike out or hit a home run. That's what it all goes to. They're not trying to place the ball. They're not trying to hit the ball to the opposite side. They're just trying to go for launch angle, exit velocity, and home runs. That's what the games come to. And it stems to the shift, because I think the shift took away so many hits and it made the game so boring. But at the same time, it was like, what else do you want to do? Are you just going to play your normal position and let them just get hits 24/7? Or do you want to position yourself in a way to try to get them out? So, I mean.
Now, see, Larry brought up last night a point about the Giants hitters and these games at home are boring, right? He said that.
Yeah.
And to a point, I'll agree with him. But Dan, you know this. Sometimes when you go to one of the best games I've ever been to in my life in person was Game 1, 2010 playoffs, Giants Braves. Tim Lincecum, 1-0.
Oh yeah,
14 strikeouts. There was no hitting in that game, but the electricity of that crowd to see Lincecum shut down that team, that was no hitting. It's funny how like no hitting all of a sudden is cool when you're winning World Series or you're in the playoffs, but When you have the same no hitting and the team is kind of boring, then all of a sudden, I'm not saying I like offense too. Don't get me wrong. Don't take what I'm saying wrong. I'm just saying that winning cures everything.
Yes.
And you know what analytics is basically doing for me? The thing that makes baseball better than any other sport from the standpoint of it's unpredictable, man. Baseball has
Once the ball leaves the bat, exactly.
Baseball is so unpredictable, and that's what we show up for. That's why we go to games. That's why the Royals, who have probably as worse a talent other than the A's in baseball, go into Houston and sweep them, a team that has all-star talent all over the place. Like in football, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see the Bears go into Kansas City 3 straight weeks and beat the Chiefs. You're not. That's the beauty of baseball, is it's unpredictable. And that's what makes us love the game. And when you bring in analytics and so much stuff, it becomes more predictable.
It does, yeah. It
and
does.
That's what I don't like. If you really want to know what bothers me all these months I've been on this show, and I push back against analytics and I push back against this and that about the game. And I'm not trying to be Clint Eastwood, get off my lawn, trying to be one of those and saying, oh, it was always good back then. But it kind of was. And that's just where I'm coming from. I don't know how other people feel about it.
I like that. That's interesting. They took the unpredictability out of the game, which is what makes the game that special. I like that. Hey, real quick, Cameron Tyson, $2 says place odds on Kapler or Fallhar getting fired after this season.
Kapler's 100%. I'm fully convinced he's gone.
I say Kapler's 100. Okay, let's make it hard. Then what's Farhan's prediction or percentage? What do you think?
I think it's about 80.
I think it's more. Yeah, I was gonna say more than 50. I can't put a number, but it's definitely more than 50%.
I think there's a good chance both of them are gone.
What do you think, Dan?
Nothing would surprise me with this organization if they brought them both back. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, the noise is too loud for them to do it.
Right.
But I got to believe the pressure gets turned up more this week, as, slow week for the Niners until, about Thursday, Friday. Giants are officially eliminated. They'll probably lose tomorrow, fall into 4th place. And they got the Dodgers coming to town. I would say 90%. I'd say 85-90% Kapler's gone, and about 65% Farhan.
I think that's a good guess.
Who knows?
I don't trust this ownership. I want to be with you guys, but my brain is telling me, my heart's telling me 80, 90 like you guys, because that's what I want. My brain's telling me
50-50.
This ownership is just, and I think there's a 50-50 chance that they come back.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning a little bit, but it's just,
I hate to say that. I don't want that to be the case, but I don't know. Maybe the Dodgers come into town. Maybe that'll be the last straw, and not what happens on the field. I want ownership to look up into the stands, and I want them to see 80-90% Dodger fans. I want them to have their LA flags and their LA banners all over that ballpark, and I want the ownership to go, oh, God, this is bad. This is our crown jewel of a stadium. Like, this is not 50-50. This is 85-90% Dodger fans. And if they show videos of Dodger fans outnumbering Giants fans and they're beating their ass in the crowd, I don't want that. But if that comes out because they outnumber Giant fans, I don't know. Maybe that's the flame that they need to light under them.
I think it's going to take. I think it's going to take
all of the above.
There's always a guy when I played. There's always somebody in the locker room when things were going bad, or the clubhouse, whatever you want to call it, that would speak out of their frustration. And it's not always the best player. A lot of times it's one of the guys that's frustrated because they didn't have a great year or on the bench or whatever. Maybe somebody pops off and says, you know what? Nobody, this place is run like, I've been in other organizations, and this is just a disaster the way it's run. I don't know what it's going to take, but Logan Webb saying what he said last night got a lot of traction today. It spoke volumes that he said, what was the quote again? We've got to
Change the
make
culture.
big
moves to change the
culture. Well, who runs the culture?
Farhan Kapler.
Farhan Zaidi and Gabe Kapler, both of them together.
They run the culture. And Webb's just like, look, I signed a 5-year deal here. I don't want this anymore. I want to win. And he knows when he says changes, big changes to change the culture, that's a direct shot at the leadership. And he's not going to come out and say, we got to move on from Farhan or Gabe. He can't.
Yeah, he's not going to say that.
He can't say that. It looks really bad. It doesn't bode well for Webb's career, anything, So, but he's probably, I guarantee you, Buster's talked to him.
Oh, 100%.
Guarantee you. I mean, he was his battery mate all of 21, and they were like, super close. And
guys, what? Go ahead, Dan.
No, I'm just saying, I think that move said a lot, because that is the leader of this franchise right now saying, if we don't make changes, I guarantee you, if things don't, you could have Logan Webb, if they bring back Farhan, he may have even told Buster, look, you bring him back, I'm going to ask for a trade.
Maybe. Los, I want to go back to what you were saying, how and it was exciting to watch these low score games. And I agree. I love pitching duels, right? That gives me excitement to watch. The problem, and I'll sort of support Larry's point yesterday, is that this season, those low scoring games weren't pitching duels. It was, you had an opener, you had a number 2 guy go for 3 or 4 innings, then you had 3 more guys. And it's not as fun as a Logan Webb yesterday going 9 innings, allowing 1 run and getting the win, or 7 innings, 1 hit ball and 10 strikeouts. It's just not as fun. So I agree with both of you guys, but I can see where Larry's coming from.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's different kinds of low scoring games. It's like dominant pitching versus completely inept hitting. So
like tonight,
Larry and you are both right on that account.
They went 17 innings and scored in 1 inning in this series so far. They got their 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th, and then tonight they go, shut out again. So this team just can't hit. It's bad. I mean, this is a and they're gonna pin it on. I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. Here's my biggest fear: is that they pin everything on the hitting instructors and Kai Correa, and they bring back Kapler.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
Oh, I can imagine it totally.
I got one worse for you. What if everybody comes back and they trade Webb because of what he said? How pissed off do you think the Giant fan base would be?
I wouldn't watch their team anymore.
It'd be end of the San Francisco Giants.
I wouldn't watch them anymore. I wouldn't support them anymore at all. That's complete mismanagement, and the whole thing has to go, because that's just absurd.
I would cross the line. They're tinkering on the line right now. If they just, because Webb came out and said what probably 80% of that clubhouse thinks, but he's the most respected player along with Brandon Crawford. Brandon Crawford is very quiet during all this. But maybe if he officially retires, and somebody asked him point blank, how did you enjoy your last year with the Giants? And he no longer, again, you can say a lot of things when you're not employed by an organization or a company. You can have freedom of speech for sure. I would be very curious to see what Brandon Crawford says. But for Webb to come out as the leader and most respected player of that clubhouse to say what everybody else is thinking, and for them to say, "Oh, you're gone, you're traded," whoo, Lord, that would. Hey, I don't put anything past this regime. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
The sooner it gets done, the sooner they cut bait, the better.
There's the ESPN standing. That's the wild card standings. You got San Francisco with that E, so I guess that's official. Look who doesn't have the E. The team just above them, San Diego Padres.
Interesting. So they must have maybe a tiebreaker with.
That's what it is.
I think they have the tiebreaker with Chicago.
Interesting.
So then if Chicago goes,
but I mean, Chicago's got to go 0-5, and the Padres got to go 4-0.
Yeah.
9 games.
Who's Chicago playing?
They blew it
right
today.
now, they blew it today. They were up on Atlanta big, and they blew it. They're playing Atlanta, and then who do they close with, Eric?
Oh, who do they close with?
The Mets, was it?
I can't remember.
I can pull it up right
You
here.
pull it. All right.
What was the announced attendance tonight about?
Oh, it couldn't have been much.
Oh,
Oh my God. I saw a picture in the first inning.
looked-
It was bad.
28,000.
Oh, Cubs have the Brewers,
That's paid attendance though, so that's how many people
but
paid.
the Brewers are playing for nothing. They got the division clinched.
Yeah.
Did they
So
clinch
you know-
tonight?
you
with
know how
Chicago's
I don't
loss?
think it's clinched. I don't think it's clinched.
Check this. Move the standings to the league standings. I think they clinched tonight with the loss of the Cubs. Cubs can maximum win is what's
There's the X. They clinched. Yep. Clinched division.
Yep.
Guys, can you imagine how many?
Did they clinch tonight? Right? Did they clinch?
Yeah, I think they
tonight?
did tonight.
All right. Here's a good bet for you guys. Tomorrow, take who's ever playing. Who they playing the Brewers right now?
Oh, I know where you're going. That's my philosophy for sure. Has been for decades.
Yeah. Tomorrow they play the Cardinals at home.
Yeah, Cardinals.
Brewers will be favorites. Right now, what's the line? Let me see if they've got the line out because
Always
Picked
bet
up-
against the team that clinched.
they're gonna be over. They're gonna be hung over. They have nothing to play for, especially if it's a day game. Following it happened this Saturday. I took the Angels over the Twins. Twins had clinched the night before, plus 182 for the Angels. And I said, Mets are going to be flat. I mean, the Twins, they got one shutout, 1-0. Happens all the time.
You know what else has been good to me, Dan, is betting against the NBA champion raising their banner on opening
Oh
night.
yeah,
I bet
Right.
against them, and I take the points because the emotions and everything, and reminiscing about last year. And the other team just comes in and goes, "Oh, okay." So take the
Yeah, 'cause
points.
a lot
Don't
of-
take them straight up to win. Take the points. There's
Brewers
some free,
are right now. Cardinals are plus 120 on the money line tomorrow. 120.
I'm gonna ask one more question, then I have to get out of here. One more based on the Giants. All right, give me things that we can go around in a circle. Things to look forward towards next season. Los, you can start.
New management, a 100% commitment to the young guys, including some young guys that maybe we haven't even talked about, that like the Grady McRae's that may blow up in spring training. So new management, a commitment to youth, and less reliance on analytics.
Who's Grady McRae? Is that guy from Sanford and Son? Grady? You talking about Grady from Sanford and Son?
Shady Grady. That's his first name, right?
Grant.
McCray?
Grant.
Oh, damn! Now I'm messing up first names.
And Eric's like in another world. He didn't even hear
Hey,
any
you
of
know
it.
what? You know
I
what?
was looking at the chat.
As much as I put down analytics, I need some for myself.
We need a woman to run the board. She can think on both sides of them at the same time, can listen and read the chat. Did you know a woman can do that? Us men cannot.
Grady McCray. That's
Grady
a good one.
McCray.
Shady Grady.
Man. So is this, Bora, is this what we personally can look forward to, or what we think the Giants, what they're real?
There's sort of like a gray line. It's sort of, yeah, it can be whatever, really.
All right. Yeah, Eric says boot him. There you go, Eric. Veto power right there. Not paying attention. You know what he's doing? He's going to put me up there with Dodger Dan or in the Gabe suit. I guarantee it. Guarantee it, as Charles Barkley would say. All right. I'll bring him back in before he puts up some Kapler stuff. Wait, I'm trying to bring him back in, but he won't. There he is. Eric L., I can time you out, right? Ooh, that's not me.
Yeah,
that's Eric.
That's me.
That's passive aggressive Eric.
That's what it's Eric on Eric violence right now.
I won't let him do that to you, Eric.
Well, go ahead and answer Boris' question about what do you want.
What do we have to look forward to? Well, maybe I've been opening up instead of crab sandwiches just being out there behind center field, maybe moving one over into the club level on the third base side. No. What do we have to look forward to? If you want my most optimistic, it would be what Lowe said, new management, be Buster being heavily involved. It would be someone like a Yadier Molina being the manager, or
I like that.
Or even a Stephen Vogt, or Ron Wotus, something like that. It would be that they make some actual real trades for a bona fide star. And if I've got to give up one of my pitchers, I'm willing to do that if I can unload, like for a Mike Trout, for example. I'm okay taking Trout if I don't get this, I don't have the salary for the next 10 years, if the Angels are paying at least half. But because I don't mind giving up, maybe I'll give up one player. I mean, that's a lot to have on your books, the full contract, and not give up anybody just in exchange for the contract, because that could wear you down at $40 million a year for a long time. So I would look for something like that. I would love to see them go out and get a Rhys Hoskins and a Cody Bellinger. And I would love to see them be really ultra aggressive and say, you know what, we're changing our dimensions of our ballpark to bring in some attractive hitters and take that fence. I think it's a little too much to move it in 10 feet because I don't know what you can do. I know they love the architectural of the right of Triples Alley and the brick and everything, but man, make that field a lot shorter. Make it a hitter's park for right-handed. I mean, you just signed Bryce Eldridge. You drafted a kid with major power. Make that ballpark for these guys. Make some excitement. You're boring as hell to watch at home. They don't score. They don't hit. Make that park play a little bit more to, I'm not saying make it Cincinnati Reds. It'll never be that because of the weather, but you can make it a little bit more interesting and just have it be more entertaining. So that's one thing I would love to see them do. Do I think they'll do any of it? No. And I asked Larry this question. I'll end on this. I said, what are your chances? What percentage do you give Farhan and Kapler? And he said, sadly, of coming back. And he said, sadly, 70%.
Who said that?
Larry.
Just now?
Yeah. Just about 10 minutes ago. He said he thinks, 70% chance they'll come back. I mean, Giants, that's just how they operate. I mean, there was no reason for them to ever commit to Farhan and say, we want, the best thing they could have done is say, we'll see how things turn out this year and we'll evaluate it at the end of the year. That's all they had to say. So that's mine. Hey, Bora, what do you got in your fantasy football there?
What?
What do you got in your fantasy football there? You got anything brewing?
No, I don't know. You proposing? Okay, let me see this. Yeah, that's
Right.
not happening, Dan.
Mo G, right. Juan Soto just keeps hitting bombs in San Francisco, so he doesn't need the fences moved in.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually have power, you actually know how to go the opposite field when a pitch is pitched on the outside. That's what happens.
I do not want to see them trade for him. Sign him in free agency, or at least try to. Because if you try to trade for him, you're gonna have to give up Luciano, Harrison, and plus more.
And you know what? Honestly, to Dan's answer to the changing the ballpark, honestly, the easiest thing is to do right now is just close up the archways. The ballpark played live in 2021 when it was when those archways were closed. So just close them up. I think that's going to provide a huge. You don't have to have a huge dramatic difference to the ballpark. You keep the aesthetics of it, but the ball will travel a lot better. Maybe it'll attract some of these free agents that we're talking about. But that's what we need. I mean, we just need some leadership in there that's going to make some bold moves, not irrational moves, but bold moves that makes this club better to complement the guys that you've brought up. That's what we need to see.
Yeah,
it's going to be so ugly if they stay.
I know.
And we're in January and February, and they're going to try to come up with some slogan for the 24 season.
Oh,
and they're going to still have Yaz and still have Slater, and nobody in the media at spring training is going to say, why do you hold on to these guys? Nobody's going to hold them accountable.
If they're not fired within the first week of the season, they're coming back.
Yeah, I would agree with it. I would give them 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're not gone within 2 weeks after the season ends. They're more than likely coming back. And
oh yeah.
I definitely will. And this is hard for me since I moved down here. I go to Giants practices, not just the games. I mean,
Right. That's where I met you out there.
I finally met Dan because I love the game of baseball, and I just go out there for practice just to see him catch the ball and hit and just do all the, baseball routines and stuff that I did when I played. When you love the game, you love the game. But if they bring them back, I won't even go to Giants spring training games. I'll go to other games, but not them. And I'm about as diehard as it gets. But I mean, it's just you got to put your foot down. And I hope most Giants fans do. Enough is enough. The organization deserves better, and the Giants fans deserve better.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to say my thing that I'm looking forward to is just the rookies and the young kids playing.
There you go.
All right. And I think I have to get out of here. So
and we're going to get out of here too. So,
See you, Bora.
all right,
See you
Bora,
guys.
have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, guys. So I think that's enough Giants talk. We can keep going for a little bit with NFL or just call it a night. I'm done with the Giants.
Yep. I've had enough. We could talk about something else.
NFL. What's shaking in the NFL?
Not all. Spencer says he's night.
Take it easy, Spencer.
Oh, night 2004. Maybe all.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's what you're saying. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's going.
We
Fantasy trade.
might have a 5-hour show if Farhan and Kapler are fired.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that would be something.
We might be on here, and you're going to see 4 really happy faces.
Oh yeah, it'll be like
For the first time in about 3.5 months, you're going to see the show start. And you're going to see 3 guys going.
Oh yeah, that has to be funny. Yeah.
Just hire real
Change
baseball people.
is good sometimes.
Yes.
Change is good sometimes.
What do we got? Do we got any? Wonder if Devontae. What is this? Check your Twitter, Dan 1042. What do we got?
Dan, you haven't offered me a trade in about a week. That's unusual.
Yeah, I don't know if you got anything that's a match for us.
I don't have anything you want.
Well, you do, but I mean, I don't know if
I'm willing to come off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I may just stick with the club for a while. I don't know. What am I looking for? Twitter. All right, Twitter. What's on my Twitter? Make like.
Oh, Eric, you got the number 2 seed this week.
Yep, it's gonna be interesting.
Man, I swear, James Cook is so frustrating. I have him in my other league. He does all the work, but man, they get close to the goal line and
they don't give him the
out, man. I mean, touchdowns wins you fantasy football. I mean, yards and this and that in between the 20 and the 20 are great.
But the touchdown.
When you see your guy always taken out, I mean, God.
I always see it in the red zone. Like, here we go. Nothing.
Yeah, they forget that James Cook can catch the ball. Like, you can throw it to him and he can score a touchdown close. Like, oh man, that's frustrating because he could really he's a pretty good running back even without it, because he is the number 1 running back on that team, but damn, they like to throw the ball out in Buffalo.
He goes, Will, make this interesting. Send Dan a trade. You got to clarify, is it the Miami Vikings or the Minnesota Vikings? I did. He did send. Okay. Are you talking?
I was just looking. I got to pull this up here. This is pretty funny. Let me pull this up.
I'm really going against Brock Purdy and Andy Dalton this weekend.
That's so funny.
Andy Dalton.
It's this Brebbia thing. He's a crack up. He really is.
Yeah, he's the master of the deadpan, isn't he?
Yeah, this whole thing.
I'm thinking about it. Matthew.
Here we go. Let's play this thing with Brebbia tonight in the
clubhouse. What's going on with wrestling?
No, maybe just have a discussion tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, like who had the greatest clothesline in wrestling history?
Oh, do you like the short arm clothesline or the regular clothesline?
You know who had a very underrated clothesline that really was nasty was who was that? God, what is his name? He was like from Texas. He came in with a big limousine and the horns on the front hood. Bradshaw.
Oh, Bradshaw.
Bradshaw would bring his arm all the way back and snap it at the base of your chest.
He had a long wingspan, so yeah, that made it
long.
Yeah.
But my boy Nikita Koloff, for those old school WCW, had a nasty clothesline. Rick Steiner had a nasty clothesline in the WCW. Who else had a pretty good one? Jake the Snake, short arm clothesline.
The short arm, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty sick to be able to grab a guy and bring him towards you momentum wise and snap
it. Yeah,
that was nasty. That was a nice move. I always thought Jake the Snake was underrated as a wrestler. You know, his gimmick was the whole snake and things like that, but you know, he'd snap a DDT on you. He'd snap the short arm clothesline.
Now, how about this? Who is the best technician as a wrestler?
Probably Bret Hart.
Bret the Hitman. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, before you finish wrestling, I want to play this.
Go for it.
Ball trick.
Why's the video not?
Maybe. I just it's arbitrary to give up the baseball that you're currently holding. You
Why is
know,
that?
we can just get a new one anyway. So
Is it over here on the
I thought maybe
side?
that could keep me in there an extra couple hitters.
What the heck? What's going on with it? There we go.
JBL, that's right, JBL.
Okay, so this is the what do you,
Ball trick. Maybe. I just it's arbitrary to give up the baseball that you're currently holding. You know, we can just get a new one anyway. So I thought maybe that could keep me in there an extra couple hitters.
What was the dialogue?
To be honest, I really only remember the first thing I said, and it was, "Hey, no." I don't think he heard it. So as he got closer, I said, "I don't think this is a good idea." And then to be quite honest, I completely forget the rest.
You told Patrick Bailey that you were probably going to do it, so it was a plan.
I was told, what's that? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Oh, Gabe said that Patrick Bailey had warned him that you might do that, so it was a discussion.
Patrick Bailey had warned Gabe that I might
Trick him.
Yeah. I've tried to trick him in the past. Or Andrew Bailey, yeah. We all do. They're related, so it's not that big a deal. I've tried to trick him in the past, and he's usually on top of it. And today he was. So it's unfortunate.
that's the reporters gathering around like that's a big story. John Shea's asking questions like he doesn't know Brubby is a big prankster. Well, what was the dialogue? You
I
know,
thought we were done with the Giants.
no, I'm just somebody sent me that. So
They're in the
That was
threat.
that's one hell of a beard he has, though. Wow.
yeah.
Hey, I'll
season
go on
since
for a little.
day
I'll go on
one.
for a little while. I'll go on for a little while with you wrestling, Eric.
All right, cool.
But I do got to get up a little early tomorrow, so
You guys
All right.
doing wrestling tonight or tomorrow?
we can go a little bit tonight.
Yeah, why
All
not?
right.
You can take the
What do
night
I
off
think
early
about
if you
the
want, Dan.
Sharks? Sexy boy says they're struggling. They'll probably they're kind of in a rebuild. Going to be a while, but we'll see. Haruku in the house still?
He might be. I haven't seen he hasn't
He
said
was
anything in
in
a
there.
while, but he might be in there.
I'll send Los a trade just for the heck of it, since we're on here. Let's take a look at what Los has got. Oh, the bad guy. What do I want from a guy that I beat up on?
I love it.
Tua. Tua would be nice, but that's not happening.
Well, I told you guys last night they offered me Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson, like 2 quarterbacks for one. Like, dude, if you're gonna really give me McCaffrey and Anthony Richardson, and maybe you get Tua,
Why would I
I'll do that. I'll take McCaffrey. But yeah, let's do some wrestling, Eric. The chat is itching to talk.
Yeah,
about
and
it.
why not? Yeah. Some
Send it to
military
me, Daniel.
history,
I'll look at it.
aviation, and wrestling.
Yeah, my aviation knowledge is
It's all
pretty
good.
below average, but I always like to learn. So
Hey, no worries.
we're talking about technician wrestling.
Technician wrestling, yeah.
Technical wrestlers don't. Kurt Angle's very underrated.
Kurt Angle, right? Because he brought that collegiate type stuff over.
Yeah, he was a collegiate, and Brock Lesnar, as big as he was,
Same
he
thing.
could actually wrestle. University of Minnesota.
You know, there was a little special I was watching. It was a short on A&E. I guess, did you know Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar actually had a collegiate wrestling match?
Who won?
Kurt Angle.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Angle can wrestle.
Yep.
See, the thing about Hogan, why when we talk about GOATs, the reason I always put Flair a little bit above Hogan, like I know what Hogan did for wrestling and the business, everything. Like he's number one, no doubt. But like Flair used to regularly wrestle 45 to 60
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly.
Hogan, I don't think has ever been in a match more than 20, 25 minutes. He
And
has
he was more athletic too. You know,
He
he'd
was
flip
very
over and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Hogan was a beast when he first broke in the early 80s. You know, he was 6'8", 6'9", 300 pounds. But he had about 5 moves. He had a clothesline. He had a leg drop is his finishing move. He would suplex you. He did that move where he'd throw you into the ropes and then come with a clothesline in the corner.
Are you talking about Hogan?
Hogan.
Yeah,
he had about
the big boot to the face.
big boot. Yeah. So he had about 5 or 6 moves. I loved wrestlers that could like one of the best matches I ever saw was WrestleMania 3, Savage versus Steamboat. Go back and watch that match. That was a beautiful wrestle. I know it's choreographed, and they discussed it. There was a documentary about it, how they were both anal about it, like literally step by step how to do it. But it was when you worked with another guy that could wrestle and knew all the different holds and things like that, it made for a very entertaining match. So Randy Savage was very underrated as a technical wrestler.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll look at it
Wait,
in a minute, buddy.
Who was it that put the figure 4 on Hogan on the turnbuckle? Remember when he was against the post? Didn't that blow out his knee or something?
Might have been Paul Orndorff.
Was it Paul Orndorff? I think it was Paul Orndorff that did that. Mr. Perfect.
Paul Orndorff, very underrated.
Mr.
He had
Perfect.
a nasty.
I love this damn pile driver.
Yeah,
that was nasty.
Yeah, he had a real nasty pile driver. Yeah, I just
great finish. And the great part about it is when he finished it, it would bounce and they would just pop off, and like, you know what I'm saying? And then he'd just roll over on top of them. That was awesome.
Hey, I mean, this guy's saying, did Ric Flair ever body slam Andre the Giant? No, he weighed 235. But did Hogan ever wrestle 60 minutes? No.
Right.
And this is why Ric Flair is the GOAT. I'm sure all of you that are wrestling fans know Ric Flair's story. The man is a certified alcoholic. He can more or less outdrink any man other than maybe Andre the Giant under the table. Any man that can drink like 2 bottles of whiskey on a 10-hour flight to Japan and then wrestle the Japanese champion for 60 minutes. Let me repeat, this is a true story. Ric Flair by himself on a private jet when he was with WWE flew to Japan, 10-hour flight. He downed 2 bottles of whiskey, got off the plane, showered, and wrestled the Japanese guy for 60 minutes. That in itself makes you the GOAT.
Yeah.
That man could consume alcohol like no other. And like I said, it's not like he couldn't talk. Nobody could talk. I mean, Flair could cut a promo. See, to me, the best wrestlers are if you're a great wrestler, if you are a great promoter, as far as like on the mic skills. That's why The Rock is the best, because nobody did him like on the mic better than him. But if you were like one or the other, like there's some wrestlers that were very good wrestlers, but they had no skills on the microphone at all. None. It's like, please take away that microphone from them. They were horrible. But that's part of wrestling. People love the charisma and how Shawn Michaels is up there. He's in my top 10. Everybody should do like their top 10 wrestlers of all time. Just put them out. Or top 5 at least.
D-Shot say you forgot the cocaine part. Yeah, there probably was that on. There was probably that involved as well.
Ric Flair also was in a plane accident. He had a plane go down and he broke his back.
No kidding.
Yeah, Ric Flair was in a plane accident and he broke his back, and his doctor thought his wrestling career was done. Rehabilitated and went on to wrestle for 45 years.
You know, it makes me, because he never had that bleach blonde hair. That's not his natural hair. Do you think he did that because when he did this blade work, it just made his hair look pink? I think it was part of because he worked the blade pretty good. Nobody
bled like Flair.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. He had to bleach that hair
exactly, and it would turn all pink
to make that red show even more.
It makes me wonder if that's why he did that.
Have you ever gone to a wrestling event live, Eric?
I did a long time ago. This was when Arco Arena.
It was nice.
It was a Monday Night Raw, and it was during that time when. Do you remember when The Rock would sit in the middle of the ring and be playing the guitar, making fun of Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Well, it was happening during that time. Stone Cold came flying out and started beating him up with the guitar or something. And yeah, it was pretty good.
So
we got a chance to see what's his name, Sergeant Slaughter, walk by right in front of us. It was pretty cool.
So here's a good question for the chat. Does it matter if it's single or tag team wrestlers? Give me like your favorite one or two entrance music. Entrance music. Think about that, because there's a lot of good ones. To me, the most classic entrance music, because I've gone to a lot of wrestling events, the one that I always kind of got chills when I heard it was the Undertaker's music.
Oh, when
that music hit, that
with
was
the dongs,
that was chilling. Like, and they do all the smoke, and it got better and better as the years went on,
and the black light.
But yeah, I've seen the Undertaker come out quite a few times.
See,
his music
Stone Cold had a badass entrance music, whereas the Breaking Glass. But there was one time it got a little bit too modern. I liked the more where it stayed with the Rock. It got a little bit like some synthesizer in it. I didn't like that version. I like just the straight up Rock. You know.
Hey, the NWO and Jimi Hendrix is a good one too.
Shardall. John Cena.
No.
Hey.
No, that's not even. Yeah, I can't see you. I can't see you.
Oh my God.
I can't see you, Shard. That's not even in the top 50.
No way.
No, sorry, buddy. Randy Savage had a classic.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not graduation theme.
Isn't it Voodoo Child? Not Voodoo Child.
Voodoo Child is NWO's.
Yeah, the NWO. No, it was NWO, but it was part. But I think Hogan wound up using it when he was, when he was a heel.
Yeah. I used to love the old school Midnight Express's music. Come on. I wish I could share a video of how they used to come out. But I know we can't copyright do that. Who else? Hey, Ric Flair had
Ric Flair, the old time. The graduation.
That's graduation was Savage's.
That's what it was. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong.
Is graduation.
That's the one. Yeah.
Ric Flair is. I know how it goes. I just can't think of what the name of it is. Somebody. Hello, ladies. Val Venus. Will Martinez.
Who had the better wardrobe, Flair or Savage?
Savage cut.
Yeah, because they both came out doing the whole, arms out, and
Savage spent a lot of money on his wardrobe.
He did a lot of money
to personalize it. That's a great question, because Flair has some robes that could go for $50,000 on eBay right now. Mm-hmm. Seriously, people will pay for that. And then you have the Ultimate Warrior, who had no wardrobe at all. He had faint face paint and his orange trunks and his tassels.
He was at one of the shows when Sting was appearing in all the different parts of the arena. I watched that. I remember that fight. It wasn't a fight, or the build-up where he was coming back as the Crow, and he kept freaking out, he kept trying to play mind games with Hogan. Oh man, that is awesome! I remember that.
See,
that was huge.
I liked old school Sting with the blonde hair more than the Crow Sting.
I like the Crow Sting, but
yeah, he was okay. But I liked old school Sting with the.
I think it's because hair. Of the storyline that was going with it, and how he was trying to play head games. With NWO and everything.
Maybe.
Yeah. He got big during that time, too. When he was a Crow, he was a lot bigger.
Yeah, a lot of guys got really big when they went over to WCW. Like Savage was always a 230, 235.
Yeah, he got beat both
in WWE. He was quick and he was fast. He would leap over the rope and drop an elbow on the mat. When he got to WCW, he was so roided out. He was like
Yeah.
270. You know who helped him with the roids was your boy that I don't like, Lex Luger.
Yeah.
Yeah, too roided out, too stiff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a big Luger fan.
I just love
and remember what I said 10 minutes ago. Horrible on the mic. Lex Luger was horrible on the mic. Sting, you think you're the biggest? I'm the baddest dude at the beach. Sting, what? Shut up, Luger.
Someone brought it up earlier. Sid Vicious, he was pretty bad on the mic too. Oh,
Sid
boy.
Vicious was horrible on the mic. Junkyard Dog was horrible. On the
Junkyard Dog.
yeah, horrible. Coco Beware, horrible.
Coco Beware. You coming in?
Yeah.
Hey, you wrestlers.
George the Animal Steel. Horrible.
Hey, you wrestlers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off here in a minute, but you guys want to see something really cool with some old time baseball nostalgia?
Let's see it.
I just saw this on
I gotta
Facebook,
come back to Coco.
and this is awesome. And when I saw this, two things hit me. One, would they allow this to happen in today's era of time clock management? Hopefully they would. I think they would. And two, now I understand Aaron Judge never, ever was leaving the Yankees. Watch this. This is Mariano Rivera's last goodbye on the mound. Look at how the Yankees did this. This is cool. It's showing up?
Not yet.
Oh,
And
wrong one.
Nope. That's your
Hold
email.
on. I got to do this again. Hold on. Doggone it. Let me go back. Oh, I know what I got to do. Let me do this. Percent share. I got to do the.
Will Martinez, I just saw your trade. It will be under management's advisement.
There you go.
Somewhat fair. Although one of the guys is injured, but yeah, I'll take it under advisement.
Yeah, I did not like Triple H's mic skills. It was too horrible.
That's why when The Rock came out and mimicked him that one time, that's one of the funniest skits I've ever seen in my life. The Rock came out and talked. That's what made The Rock special. Is he?
Oh, you know what?
Not only he would mimic and sound just like other wrestlers. I am the game, and I'm going to spend 5 minutes, and I'm going to be talking about absolutely nothing.
Okay, here it is.
I like Triple H. I like this character.
Come on,
he's a good
go
villain.
back. What's going on? There's no sound?
What's going on here at Yankee Stadium?
Doggone it. What's happening? Why can't I get
Mariano when he pitched his last game?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, that's some good entrance music right there. Metallica.
Enter Sandman. Yep.
That's
Come
great.
on. Why can't I get this? Wait a minute. You got to see the beginning. See it now?
Yeah. Yeah, when Jeter and oh my gosh, Pettit came out. Yeah.
How's this for drama?
Now, there's no analytics in that.
No.
That's the unpredictable part of the game I talk about. That's what makes baseball great. That right there.
Yeah, he was the last man to wear number 42.
Wait,
The hell?
I like Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh, Bam Bam. He was athletic for being a big guy.
I'll give you one better though. I'll give you one better, Nick J. What about Vader? Vader was a big dude that could wrestle. You know, most dudes that can wrestle on the mat, are lighter. Vader could wrestle and he was 325 all day.
Tell you, amazing fans back there. I live back there.
Yep, East Coast. It's a different breed back there.
It goes on too long. It goes on for 3 more minutes, so I'll end it there. But I just wanted to give you that. I saw that pop up on Facebook. I said, man, I didn't see that in 2013. I don't remember that. That's the kind of stuff, I'm usually on top of seeing stuff like that. But, if you just follow like your own, I usually know what's going on. But back then I was there was about 3-4 years there. I was pretty busy with a lot of stuff. So, but man, how cool is that to bring out? I mean, that was 3 Hall of Famers right there.
Yep. Wait, not Andy Pettit.
He'll be a Hall of Famer, don't you think?
You think? I thought he had some of the PED suspicions. I thought.
Did he?
I think so.
Well, the Giants need to go back to their past and get rid of their past.
That's the whole thing. Farhan does not. I mean, Yankees, historic franchise, Giants, Dodgers, St. Louis, Boston, Chicago Cubs. Those are your most historic franchises, even more so than the Braves. I mean, the Braves are up there, but I don't put them above those teams I mentioned. So.
All you have to do if you want to talk about what Logan Webb talked about yesterday was culture. That was the word he used. All you need to do is look at the 49ers recently. When the Niners had Chip Kelly there, he specifically did not like the old veterans coming around to practices.
Yeah.
He did not like them. He wanted to establish his team, his coaching staff, his style. He didn't want Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, or Joe Montana coming around. And we're like, what? How can you not have icons and our history and our culture come around?
Get out of here.
What did Lynch and Shanahan do as soon as they came back? They put that culture back and embraced the past.
Yep.
That's what the Giants need to follow. They need to embrace Willie Mays and Will Clark and Matt Williams and everybody that came before. And this regime does not do that. So
anyway,
perfect. That's a perfect segue to it.
You guys
Danny,
continue on with your wrestling.
All right.
I'm out. We'll be back sadly again tomorrow night. Geez, glutton for punishment.
Maybe we could get a guest or something. Maybe.
But I love everybody in the chat. Almost everybody. So no. What's game time tomorrow? Same time, 6:45?
I think so.
Yeah, so probably 9:15. Let me look. Just
9:15, 9:30.
Yeah, tomorrow night game. I don't know who's pitching. Probably TBD and
Mania. Remember Mania?
Oh, that's right, Mania.
Unless he's sick too.
Yeah. Did you see my tweet?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
About something going on with Gabe-itis. I said it's possible to get Gabe-itis. He's never in the clubhouse.
Funny thing is, they say Harrison is sick and it's going around the clubhouse, but no one else seems to be sick.
Well, Webb was sick last night. He had a cold.
Oh, was he?
But, yeah.
But, okay.
Whatever. But anyway, see you guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
Catch up with you later. Bye.
Later.
Oh, I got this guy just brought it up too. Best jobber, Repo Man or Gilbert? Remember Gilbert? Wasn't he the little person? He was a little person that looked like Goldberg.
Oh yeah.
The Repo Man. I remember Repo Man. The natural disasters. Oh, do you remember that? The tidal wave and earthquake.
Brazili, there is no way Bam Bam is better than Vader. No way. Vader held the belt for a long time. Him and Sting had some classic matches. Bam Bam Bigelow was a tier 3 wrestler. Vader was a tier 1.
Where do you put Roddy Piper in the lore of 80s, 90s?
Great gimmick, great character, fantastic on the mic, solid not a great, solid wrestler. Yeah, he's another one that didn't have a whole lot of moves, but he was a great character. He was a great heel.
Oh, great heel.
For Hogan at the time.
You know, he
The
had a
radio.
really good interest music though. Remember he came at the bagpipes?
The bagpipes.
Yes. That was
Yeah,
actually a
he
pretty
did.
good intro music. And the Piper's Pit, that was a great gimmick. I love that.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if we're just gonna individualize like talents as far as like mic skills and shit talking, Rock is number one.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
there's some great
Yeah.
ones. I mean, he made. I just said what he did to Triple H, but he was in Las Vegas one time. He got up on the rope. He grabbed the microphone. This is the closest thing I have to a microphone. He grabbed the microphone because he started making fun of Kane. He said, "And this is what Kane sounds like. My name is Kane, and I am a Rudy Poo." And
Yeah, I remember that.
oh my God, the crowd fell out. That dude was such entertainment,
Oh,
so
man.
comical. Yeah, and
You know,
and I
Kane, he's
love-
like a mayor. He's like
I
a mayor
loved
of the
when
city.
I loved when he would come out with those. See, I liked The Rock when he was a heel. When he was a good guy, he was cool. But I liked
Yeah.
him when he was
Was a heel, yeah.
when he came out with the $700 Versace suits and
Oh,
sunglasses,
yeah.
and he would just start talking shit. The People's Champion, that was the best Rock. Yeah, nobody on the mic could do it better than him. So, and there's some great ones, but nobody could make fun of.
Wasn't
other
he called like the
wrestlers
Brahma
he did.
Bull or something like that?
Yeah, he had a lot of
Yeah.
nicknames. The Great One, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champion. Yeah, he has a lot of
Oh, I was
nicknames,
just
for sure.
Love
Jim Cornette.
Jim
He was
Cornette.
the manager
yeah.
of the Midnight
manager.
Express.
Yep. You know who and it's funny because what has happened to the mic skills? Because who was it? I think I heard Roman Reigns a couple of years ago, and I heard him. I'm like,
He's not that great
weak.
on the mic.
That's weak. Really? Is that what you're
Yeah, he's
coming
not-
with?
The Attitude Era of the 90s was when the mic skills. Stone Cold talked about that. His story was he got fired from WCW and Eric Bischoff, and he kind of was in between jobs, and they asked him to come to what's that one kind of Mickey Mouse league?
Oh, ECW.
It's
No,
still
not-
going right now. Not EC,
AWA
was it ECW?
or
It might have
something?
been. It might have been ECW. It might have been ECW.
ECW
And-
was like famous for like just crazy shit. Yeah.
And Stone Cold had like an injury, so he couldn't wrestle. And the promoter said, "Well, just come and just cut some promos." So the first promo he cut, he started talking shit about like how he got fired at WCW, and he was talking straight from the heart. And it went on like 10 minutes, like, you promised me that I was going to be a top wrestler and I was a champion, and you kept these old dudes that are over the hill, like, he was calling everybody out, like Hogan and people past their prime and Savage and all these steroid dudes, and you to give me an up-and-comer who works hard. I mean, he was just talking shit. And they said that Steve learned how to get his mic skills up in ECW. And then when he went to WWE, he was at first a dude called the Ringmaster. He had
The Ringmaster. Isn't that
he-
when he had
he-
long hair?
he cut his hair already.
Oh,
It was like a flat top kind of, or just kind of shaved on the sides. And his manager was Ted DiBiase, $1 Million
Oh.
Man. So he came in as the Ringmaster. That lasted for a couple of months, and then the story just goes that Austin went to Vince McMahon and said, "This Ringmaster shit ain't working." And he went home and he was trying to think of a gimmick that would work. And the story is that his wife made up the name, you better drink your tea before it gets stone cold. And it clicked. And he just came up with that stone cold, shaved his head, put the goatee on, started to be a rebel towards the boss, which everybody at the time loved because everybody wants to talk shit to their boss.
right.
Everybody wants to do this to their boss and get away with it. And he just ran with it. And I'm telling you,
It was huge.
as great as Hogan was and Flair was, I'm just talking about popularity.
Yeah. I get where you're going.
Austin was as hot as it got in his 5 to 7 year run in WWE or
Yeah.
WWF, and then it changed to WWE. I mean, he almost single-handedly put WCW out of business. Remember?
Yeah, that's
they
when
had
the
one- they had
competition
one-
was
they had-
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, they had Monday Night Wars.
Yeah, they
You know,
did.
they were-
You had the
and
Nitro and you
WC
had Raw. Yep.
right, and WCW was winning for a
WCW.
long time.
I mean, can you back in the day, 3 straight hours of wrestling, man? How about that? 3 hours from
And
like
there's a
what was
lot
it?
of-
From
and there's-
7 to 10.
There's a lot of people that will say they like this and they like that. The traditionalists that like just pure wrestling, like WCW, like the Jim Crockett Memorial. If you liked the gimmicks and the shit talking and a little bit of wrestling, then you like WW. WWF was more entertaining. But again, you didn't have many matches going 45 minutes to an hour like you did in WCW. Like I went to both events live. WCW and NWA never went to the big arenas in the Bay Area. They went to the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco, only 5,000 people. I saw some great matches there. I saw Luger and Sting versus the Road Warriors there.
Oh,
I saw Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff versus the Four Horsemen.
Horseman. Wow.
And that and I remember this. A lot of 49er players would go to the games. I saw Kevin Fagan there. I saw Pierce Holt there. I saw Tom Rathman there. Of course, they had better seats, but it was a small.
Yeah, but they love that stuff too.
Yeah, it was a small little arena. San Francisco only held 5,000 people. People from the Bay Area probably remember that. And but WWF went to the bigger venues like the Cow Palace, Oakland Coliseum, because Hogan and Savage were just in their prime at that time. So it was great times, man. I grew up on wrestling, so loved it as a teenager, as a young adult. Still do it to a point, though, not as much.
Right.
It's just not as entertaining, but yeah, great times, man.
Now, here's a great question because this is not an easy answer. Which was better in their prime, WWF or WCW? That's tough because they each had their moment. And if you put each other up against in their prime,
you had
that's tough.
Well, Ric Flair carried WCW and Hogan carried WWE.
I don't know, man.
Pick your flavor. I mean, I think you can't go wrong either way.
They're perfect. I think
that's like, do you like Prince or do you like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, right. They're both excellent. Yeah, exactly.
It's close. It's a toss-up. I still say WWF has always been like, it's more entertaining for the family. Like you could take your kids to a WWF event because it's like, oh, here comes Doink the Clown. Isn't that cute? Here comes Jim Hacksaw Duggan. Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Tough guy.
yeah, tough guy. So it's a
Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah, exactly. Uncle Elmer.
The honky tonk man. Remember the honky tonk man?
You could take a family to a WWF event and it would be entertaining. Now, if you go to a WCW event, you're going to see like 30, 40-minute matches. You're going to see blood. Like a lot. There was not a lot of blood back in the day in WWF. Rarely, only a pay-per-view would you see blood. Shit, at WCW house events, you would see blood. You would see Flair busted open or Arn Anderson busted open.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess the better question is, I think the demographics were men between 25 and 40 love WCW. Families where wives and kids could go love WWE. I think that's a fair assessment.
WCW with the NWO was huge. When Hogan came over, I mean, that was like earth-shattering.
There was a poll recently that talked about the biggest single events in wrestling history. That is number one. Hogan, who has been a baby face, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. When he turned bad and he dropped the leg on Savage, and you had 15,000 people booing and
throwing.
look at the video.
It's
That
throwing shit.
That was
Yeah.
spontaneous and legitimate anger. Fans were pissed. Kids were crying. They couldn't believe Hogan did that. And they
Right.
were throwing so much stuff to the ring. Oh,
And they
That
didn't
was-
even
that
think
was-
that was going to happen. Remember, I remember them saying, "Is Hogan really going to come out? Is he going to really follow through?" And I mean, it was just wow.
if all of you are in here and you love wrestling, you got to YouTube. I think it's called Behind the Curtain.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the name, and there's different episodes. And if you love wrestling, you'll love to hear the behind the scenes. Like they talked about Hogan turning, like they really were skeptical about doing it. They were
Yeah.
thinking this is not going to work.
Right.
Fans are going to not accept Hogan going bad.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They're gonna revolt. They're gonna tear the building down. Shit, they almost did, but it worked because like it was something that nobody expected, and that's what made it work. And then he started wearing black the next night.
Yep. And then he started growing into.
He started
beard.
growing the Eric Romo,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
5 o'clock shadow, and he he had
But he kept the goatee.
yeah, exactly. And they would lay out other wrestlers and they would spray with black spray paint NWO on their back. They
Yeah.
carried that for like 2 or 3 years.
And remember, during that match, you had Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, doing the whole, the Hogan poses to the audience. And they were just, the audience did not like that. That was
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, Will, I'm with you, man. Hogan, by the way, just got married. Did you see that? Age
No.
70, he remarried a beautiful 45-year-old woman. So props to the Hulkster.
Iron
Better known
Sheik.
as, yep.
I like the Iron Sheik. He was cool. He was a good bad guy. Him and Nikolai Volkov.
The camel clutch.
What did he? How did he say? I ran. When he was good, he said. How did he say it? USA, ha, pooey. And I remember that he said USA, ha, pooey. But what did he say? He said something good about Iran and something good about USSR. I
Yeah.
can't remember what he said though.
He did.
Oh, who was that guy? There was a guy. He was on WCW. It was huge for like a couple of weeks. He was like a UFC guy. It was like early UFC. Is an early UFC guy. This is the early 2000s. I mean, maybe even late 90s to very early 2000s. And he
was in
came and he
WCW.
literally. I mean, the way he was throwing punches, I don't know if he was actually landing them on these guys, but he was knocking people out. And I cannot remember the name of that guy.
Hey, Mark Graves hit it.
The
That's
guy
what
had a
Iron-
big old Fu Manchu beard too. It wasn't Ken Shamrock. It was after Ken Shamrock.
Tank Abbott.
Tank Abbott. That's it. Tank Abbott. Way to
Hell,
go. Remember?
he could
Did you
fight.
remember when he came out?
Yeah.
Was he actually connecting? It looked in the replays. It looked like he was connecting people right on the jaw,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were getting flat. Now, of course, they were, as Nick would say, they are jobbers, but they were getting knocked the hell out. And to me, it didn't look fake. That was like one of the most realistic. If it was fake, it was very well done.
No, I remember that. That's a good call. Hey, Will Martinez.
Tank
Yeah.
Abbott.
I would love to get down to that area in Tampa and go to Hogan's place. He is there most of the time. That would be awesome. I mean,
No kidding.
that's an icon.
Lockford's only like
That's an
maybe
icon.
20, 30 minutes away from where I live. Wow.
Oh, let's
Doink.
not talk about Doink. Doink was a
Oh,
dork. My
Did you
goodness.
know? Supposedly, I heard. I don't know if this is true. George the Animal Steel. Did you know he was like an actual college professor or something like that? He's at like a PhD or something. But it was the shtick that he
believe it.
did with the whole green tongue and eating turnbuckles.
I believe it. I believe it. A lot of these guys, like I just saw the documentary on Junkyard Dog. It was pretty sad.
Sad. I think I
was-
saw that too.
Did
Yeah.
you see that? Like he was promised like title shots and he didn't get it. They always kept him down, like just he had his little gimmick with his chain,
Yep.
and coming in
Yeah.
the ring, and he's another one that had like 3 or 4 moves.
He was battling demons though.
He
too.
had one of the best power body slams in wrestling history.
Yeah.
He got all of him into you, and he was a big dude.
He was a big dude.
Yeah,
you get on all fours and headbutt.
Yeah, he got into drugs pretty bad.
Yeah, that was his demons right there.
He
really
died
bad.
alone driving back home from his daughter's like birthday party or something, or his grandkids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. What about? Do you know the story about Dino Bravo?
No,
You remember him?
I vaguely remember him.
He had that promo where he was the strongest man in wrestling, and he bench pressed like 700 pounds, and Jesse Ventura was behind him, and he was struggling to push it up, and Ventura gave him a little bit of a push, and he pushed it up.
I think so. I think so.
He was this big Canadian dude. His story, I don't want to give it away, but you got to go to behind the curtain.
Gotcha.
Basically, after his wrestling career was done, he got
Messed up in the drugs.
The wrong guys.
Damn.
In Canada, some kind of, I don't know, mafia or something, and they murdered him. They
murdered him.
They put like 8 bullets in him in his own home.
Give me a couple of minutes. I'll be right back.
Yep. Dino Bravo. Yep. There's, as much as we love wrestling, the sad thing about it is they were so heavy into steroids at the time. And there are so many wrestlers that have died at young ages. I mean, you just go down the list. Brian Pillman, Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is one of my favorite wrestlers. Latino Heat. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Ultimate Warrior died pretty young. Mr. Perfect died young. The British Bulldogs, one of them died really young. I mean, we're talking about in their 30s, guys. We're not talking about 50s or 60s. We're talking about, guys in their 30s doing a whole lot of drugs. I mean, these guys were on the road. Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah, man. Brazili. That's on point. Oh, you still talking about Bam Bam? Come on, man. He's all right, but he ain't better than Vader. Dark Side of the Ring. That's another one. So there's two shows to watch: Dark Side of the Ring and Behind the Curtain. If you love wrestling and you want to see some documentaries on some guys, Chris Benoit was that was beyond sad. Another guy that he was all roided up and just snapped. So sad, man. Such a sad story. A lot of heart attacks. Yeah, a lot of heart attacks. They were just, you had to remember back in the day, it's not like that anymore. They've cut back on the work schedules, but back in the day, wrestlers would be on the road like 290, 310 days out of the year. They were wrestling, 5 times a week. They were going from city to city, house show to house show. Then they do a pay-per-view. They do a Monday Night Raw or whatever their event was weekly. Saturday Night Main Event was the event back in the day. But wrestlers were on really, really heavy work schedules, especially the main stars. So they had to take uppers. They had to do whatever it took to. And a lot of them didn't fly from city to city. They would go to Nashville, Tennessee, and then they would have to drive to Memphis overnight and wrestle the next day. And as much as we want to, say, and we know that wrestling is choreographed, you can't call it fate. When you're getting slammed like that on a mat continuously 15, 20 minutes, it takes its toll.
Yep.
A lot of these guys had a lot of injuries. And on top of needing pills to keep them awake to get them going for the next day, a lot of them took painkillers for years and years and years. And that's why so many of these dudes, died in their 30s and 40s. It's sad, but they've cleaned it up quite a bit. And I think a lot of people got hip to it. Just stop with those ridiculous work schedules. Dusty Rhodes, Love Dusty Rhodes, man. Love, boy. You talk about somebody that could be on the mic, and
Yeah, he was good on the mic.
and he had that lisp.
Yeah, the lisp. His son has the same lisp.
He has Dusty Rhodes. He got that country accent, boy. Trying to drink my drink and there's no straw in it.
You used it as a microphone when you were doing Cade.
I used it as a
I am
prop.
Cade. I am a Rudy Poo.
And the ass. Yeah, man. Big part of my life.
Oh, what
Big
is
part of
this?
my life.
What's this? Kevin Nash is a fraud? What is this all about? Is there a backstory to this?
Well, he might be talking about, his character from he was just a manager for a while, and then he became Diesel, and
Diesel
kind of became his own entity, and him and Razor Ramon became the outsiders.
The
in
outsiders,
NWO.
yeah.
Kevin Nash has always been, he's one of the best big man wrestlers, and he was a legitimate 7-footer.
Yeah, he was.
And he was not stiff like Luger. He could wrestle. Kevin Nash could wrestle. So I don't know about if he was a fraud. He was.
I saw him. He was actually in John Wick. I saw a quick. There was a quick shot. He was like one of the Russian bodyguards. He talked with a Russian accent. It was weird.
I would take Kevin Nash over Lex Luger for sure. Better wrestler and definitely better on the mic. Who else are some guys that we're missing? Some of those underrated stars. Dean Malenko could wrestle.
Oh, Dean Malenko. Coco Beware. We were talking about that before Dan came on.
The only thing I liked about
God.
him, he came into a song that I liked. It was I think it was Morris Day. I think it was Jungle Love.
Yeah, he came out with.
No, he came into the bird.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he used to do that.
Yep.
I like that song.
Had his damn bird on his arm.
He had Coco Beware had a good drop kick. Now that's an
he did have a good. He got some air on his drop kick. You're right. Yep.
You know who's a damn good wrestler is Randy Orton.
Oh, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton could wrestle. He's got that move. Oh, another dude. Diamond Dallas Page had that diamond cutter.
The diamond cutter, yeah.
Now that was a sick move to
way you
throw
kick
a dude
him
off the ropes, and while you're in the air, grab his head, twist, and drop him.
Yeah,
that's not easy, man.
Nope. Wasn't there times where he'd kick him in the sternum and then he would grab him and stun him?
That was
Diamond. No, that was Stone Cold more. Yeah.
Yeah, and Dallas Page would.
Yeah, he would give up the diamond. Yeah.
And what I respect about DDP is he was in his early to mid 40s. He had always been either a commentator or a manager. He finally said, I want to wrestle. And a lot of people said, dude, you're 42.
You're past your age. Yeah.
Hang it up. And he didn't listen to them. He was like, no, I can do this. And he trained and he developed his own little skills and his own little moves, and that diamond cutter was nasty. So a lot of respect for DDP. And right now, he's legitimately trying to help a lot of wrestlers that have fallen on hard times. He's trying.
Yeah,
he tried to help. He invited Scott Hall into his house and took care of him before he passed away. He's got some kind of a yoga class.
You know what? I remember you saying that. I remember him. This was years ago where he's done the whole holistic type thing, or yeah.
Jericho's a good one, man.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
I used to love when he used to make fun of Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit.
Hey, Jericho had some sick music. That whole when 1999 became 2000, he would sell Y2J.
Y2J.
And that music would come on. There was a countdown. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Hey, when we get off of here, I'm gonna go play that.
I forgot all about that Y2J.
I like that.
And they would do that countdown. Yeah, all the lights would go out and they had that big countdown. Yeah.
Eddie K. That's a good one, brother. That's a good one. I like Jericho.
That's a good one.
He could wrestle too. He could definitely wrestle.
And I always loved that you could always catch on when Vince McMahon got ready to either turn face or turn heel. There was always clues, and it's the way they acknowledged him. If wrestlers started calling him Vince, you knew he was a face or getting ready to become a face. And if it was Mr. McMahon, then he was a heel. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. While you stepped away, I brought up Eddie Guerrero, and Eddie Guerrero was a great wrestler. Like
Lucha Libre type stuff there.
Like him, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, they all came from WCW at the same time, and they all had mad wrestling skills. But Eddie Guerrero was sad because he had done so much drugs and he had just done too much damage to his heart. And the last year and a half of his life, he went completely, he stopped.
Yeah.
And he was really trying to make his life normal again, try to get back with his family, his wife and his kids and everything. And then he was doing really good, man. And he died in a hotel by himself.
I know. Chavo, he was another good one. He was underrated.
Yeah.
He was partnered up with Eddie. Rey Mysterio, of course, man, the 619. Yeah. For how little he was, man, he sure did pack a punch, didn't he?
He had a sick move spinning in the ropes and kicking.
How the hell do you do that? I don't even know how you do that.
What I mean, some of these dudes.
I know. It's like, man.
Hey, Savage off the top rope with an elbow. Like he leaped.
He leaped. He flew.
It wasn't like the dude was like right there in front of him. He was like in the middle of the ring and he leaped a long way, just like Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka. But he do the body splash. Freaking Randy came flying through the air with the elbow. I mean, how do you just do that without accidentally clobbering? I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Vince McMahon just sold WWE to
the Saudis.
Titan Sports. Yeah.
Yep.
Or was it the dude from UFC didn't buy it?
No, you know what it was? They got a partnership now. Supposedly, because I know WWE sold to the Saudis, but I think they merged WWE and UFC combined. I saw a Twitter on that or something.
Yeah. I got a chance to see Andre the Giant wrestle.
Oh, you saw Andre the Giant wrestle?
I saw Andre at the Cow Palace. Now, I was in the lower section. I wasn't in the upper section, but I wasn't ringside. But he walked down the aisle, and I was not next to him in that row, but I was a section over. That's the largest human being I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
He was they call him the eighth wonder of the world. And if you want to talk about a good documentary, watch an Andre the Giant documentary. You talk about a guy's like, he was always the designated driver, man, because he could drink like 25 glasses of wine before he got buzzed. Imagine that. And 5 steaks. When you're 520 pounds, you can do that. Yeah. Good times, man.
Yeah,
Good
Goldberg.
times.
When Goldberg first, that was like huge in WCW.
And the thing about
this
wrestling,
guy ever lose?
In back in the day, somebody would keep the belt for a long time, like a year and a half, 2 years. But people are less patient now, so people want to see change
all the time. Exactly.
Wrestling, and you remember the writers behind the scenes, the people that we don't see, the ones that are writing the scripts for all these storylines. And then, of course, they go to the wrestlers and say, hey, what do you think about this? And then wrestlers have definitely more say in their characters and their careers. They have to okay it. But, I mean, that's a lot of years to be writing all these scripts and storylines. I mean, we're talking wrestling has been around for a long time. But it only really started with storylines and characters like maybe in the late 70s, early 80s. Before that, it was just 2 guys came to the ring and just wrestled. There was no talking. There was no mic skills. There was no, lights going off and bombs on entrances. You just, in this corner, buddy God, who were some of the old school wrestlers? Ric Flair got his name from another Nature Boy. He was not the original. He copied somebody else.
Oh, hey, look at this. We got a new guy. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights said subbed up. Yo. Hey, thanks for
right on,
subbing.
Daniel.
Appreciate it, man.
Welcome, man.
We kind of get a little bit we're primarily, talk, Giants, 49ers, Warriors. But yeah, you're more than welcome to come in. We also start getting into wrestling. We got some wrestling people in here. I'd love to talk about it. We get a little bit crazy.
We mix it up. The Giants can only be talked about so much. We've talked about them for 5 or 6 months, so it's refreshing to talk about something like wrestling.
Something
and not everybody is a wrestling fan. Obviously, Dan isn't. He's not into that. But a lot of us were taken by our dads, or some of us were taken by our uncles to these wrestling events, and we got hooked.
Mm.
Oh, I used to love the Dudley Boys too.
What is your best match type? You got the TLCs, you got cages, you got what is it? Oh, there you go. Tag team Royal Rumble.
I mean the Royal Rumble, you can't go wrong with that because you're seeing so many
unique
different wrestlers.
Yeah, that's
and
unique.
One is coming in every 2 minutes, and you're kind of looking all over the ring. You're seeing guys that, you're seeing good guys wrestle other good guys. You're seeing bad guys. We're used to seeing combinations of, okay, there's a good guy and there's a bad guy, and that's always the storyline. The Royal Rumble, every man for himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's complete chaos. So I would say that one is probably right up there. The ladder matches are great. They're dangerous, though.
They're dangerous. Who was it? Edge and who is his partner? They're the kings of the whole TLC stuff. Daniel Sperry, he's Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. He's Niners own my Rams. He's an LA fan. It's okay. No worries.
Hey, the Rams got some young talent. I like their 2 young receivers, and if Kupp ever comes back,
and you got the good old Dodgers who won the NL West again.
Are you a Dodger fan too, Daniel? Because if you are, I'm not going to say anything. But congratulations!
Let's just say we respect the greatness that you guys have, but on the same token, it's Dodgers. And you just can't root for them. Can acknowledge their greatness, but we can't root for them.
That would be an interesting question for Bay Area fans. Like, who do you dislike more, the Dodgers or the Cowboys?
Ooh, that would be good. That'd be interesting.
Ooh.
That would be a close one, I think.
That would be, if there was a vote, it would probably be 50-50.
Hey, Daniel Barry, if you check out some of our old live, matter of fact, a couple of days ago, we had Ned Coletti on. He comes on the show occasionally, so you might like that.
Yeah, Edge and Christian and Jeff Hardy and all those guys had some of the craziest ladders.
Yeah, they had some. Yeah, it's like stuntmen.
You could use the ladder as a weapon. Like Razor Ramon had a great ladder match for the belt. I can't remember who he wrestled. Was it Shawn Michaels? No. Damn, who was it? It was one of the best ladder matches of all time for the Intercontinental belt. But those ladders, man, you could use them as weapons. Those guys come out of a ladder match, they should be done for a week. Like, you can't wrestle the next day after going through that.
No way.
Those are brutal.
Yep.
Those scaffold matches are brutal too, man. You fall. I mean, Owen Hart lost his life
doing some stunts. Yeah,
doing some stunts because Vince is trying to please the crowd, maybe too much, going a little over the top. Took a man's life.
Yeah, I know.
Love Shawn Michaels. Damn, that dude.
Sweet chin music.
And he could wrestle. Him and Undertaker had some great matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they did. Did they have? Was it? Wait, who was the what is it? I don't know. What do they call it? The coffin match where they had to bury the loser.
Kane versus the Undertaker.
Was it Kane versus Undertaker? That was where they had to bury the loser.
That was one.
No,
Undertaker.
the first one though, because I remember Undertaker talking about it, and he was like, "You're gonna do what?" I don't think it was. I don't think it was Kane though.
I do remember Yokozuna. You talk about Andre being 520 pounds. I think Yokozuna was pushing maybe 550. That
The
was
buried alive match. That's what it was. Who was in that? Undertaker and who
a
else?
large man. The buried alive match.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. It was-
Scorpio saying it was the Warrior and Undertaker.
The Warrior. Was it?
Ultimate Warrior. I do
I don't
remember
think
them
so.
wrestling.
Was it Mick Foley versus the Undertaker? How come that doesn't sound like right? And make me search this.
Here's a fact that not too many people know. The Sting and the Ultimate Warrior at one time were tag team partners in WCW.
Oh, maybe it was then.
True story. I can't remember what their name was, the Renegades or something like that.
Man, how many damn buried alive matches were they? Okay, it was Mankind. Yeah, so it was Mick Foley. It was Mankind. Wow.
Well, Undertaker is definitely on my top 5 list of all-time wrestlers
Of all time
because
wrestlers.
of his longevity, how long his career was, how long you can maintain that character of the Undertaker. And in his WCW days, he could really wrestle. He was 6'10", 320 pounds, and he was walking on the top rope. And then
I remember that. He walking in with the
he would go to the corner and then he
Yep.
would walk sideways. This is a 6'10", 325-pound man. He would walk sideways on that top rope, keeping his balance, and then he would drop on your arm.
Yep, I remember that.
He could wrestle.
Man.
He could wrestle.
Wow. I forgot all about that. He used to do that. He would hold their arm as he's walking across the ropes.
Chardal with a top 5 question. Top 5 female wrestlers. That's a good question, actually, Chardal. Trish Stratus is 1. Lita is 2. Damn, I don't know some of the newer lady wrestlers. Tori Wilson. Whew, she was hot. God, she was hot, and she could wrestle. Mickey James. I don't know. Help me out, chat. I don't know some of the new. Charlotte Flair, Ric Flair's daughter, can wrestle. Hello, it's in her genes.
I was just gonna say something. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, what did you think of the Ultimate Warrior shtick?
I liked his.
He got people pumped up for sure.
He did. He won the belt from Honky Tonk Man in 30 seconds. The Honky Tonk Man, he was Intercontinental Champion for a long time, and he got on the mic and he said, "I challenge anybody in the back. I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. There's nobody that could beat me. Anybody in the back, come on out. Come on, challenge me. See if you can take me on." Man, the Ultimate Warrior's music hit.
Comes
That crowd
flying
went
out.
nuts. This fool came into the ring. He bounced off the rope. Honky Tonk trying to hit him with a clothesline. He ducked. He
Bounces off the other. Yep.
He came with the full body splash, knocked him over, and then he did his move. He beat him in 30 seconds. But that's what wrestlers did. Is the Honky Tonk Man knew it was good for business to put the Ultimate Warrior over the top and let him win the belt.
Right.
Just like Hogan, Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. That's one of the better matches because those were two good guys.
The interview that the Undertaker had with Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Go YouTube it. The interview between Ultimate Warrior and Mean Gene, and talking about Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah,
get you Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, you don't know what. Oh, it was great. The dude
You
was
know what's
roided out, man.
You know what's so funny is to hear these wrestlers like listen to Hulk Hogan talk normal, and then listen to his wrestling voice.
Oh yeah, it's
Savage,
totally different.
Savage the same way.
Yeah,
I mean,
Savage
they all Ultimate Warrior has a very low, mellow voice, but when he's you talk about the Warriors, man, that dude was
Oh,
man.
my
You talk
God.
about a dude roided out.
Exactly.
God, his nipples had roids. Had man, that's when you know you've taken a few too many, man. When your nipples are all muscular.
Oh
Shit.
man, but yeah, YouTube that. That's a great interview. He just loses, and you could see Mean Gene going like this to the camera. He's like, "Cut it, man! This guy's going too long." It was great. Mean Gene. Oh, was he not the best though? As far as
He just passed away not too long ago.
yeah, it was a few years ago. But and but didn't he have a burger joint? Mean Gene Burgers or something like that. I think he did, if I'm not mistaken.
I would think so.
What's up, Fish and Chips? Good morning to you too. Top of the day to you.
Yeah, Hogan and Warrior was a great event because up until that time, it had always been a baby face versus a heel. In other words, a good guy versus a bad guy. Easy to pick one side or another. That was the first time you had two good guys. So
yeah,
the crowd was split. Hogan came in, huge cheers. Ultimate Warrior came in, huge cheers. And that's what made that event so good. It was actually one of Hogan's best matches. He actually wrestled in that match. And here's the thing about Hogan that I saw a documentary on him. He would have to go to Japan and wrestle because, he was very popular at the time. He said when he went to Japan, he wrestled more instead of doing his power moves that he was known for in the WWE. And I saw some film of him and I was like, oh shit, look at Hogan. Like he was doing roll-ups and he was doing arm bars and, all the basic moves that they teach you. Oh, what was that TV show that was
on MTV?
Yeah, that people would. That was actually they had a documentary on that was actually interesting. Like,
where there were
people would try out, and whoever won would.
That one guy became a big WWE star. What's his name? Mike. How do you say his last name? It's a weird last name. I can't remember.
Yeah. They had a tryout show, and whoever won it won a 1-year contract. And that show really showed like how much hard work
it's a lot of work.
A wrestler. Like it wasn't, and some of the people that went there were in great shape, and they couldn't hang. They quit. They tapped out.
The Miz, that's it. The Miz, he won on that show, and he wound up becoming a big WWE star. Look at Dan, Mean Joe Green. All wrestling is stealing from real life heroes. What happened to Giants Talk? The greatest show on earth. We're talking Americana right now. This is America right here.
the Giants Talk is it's done. It's officially football season as of
What other show was he on? What other show was he on? I can't remember. He wasn't he? I can't remember what he was on.
I'm not a huge fan of the Miz. He's all right.
No, I mean he's a loudmouth for sure. He plays a good heel.
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah.
Dan Coach Emily, go to bed.
AJ style.
There it is. Wrestling is more exciting than the Giants. Right now it is. 100%.
Definitely. Well, I am going to tap out.
You know what? I think I'm going to do the same.
You going to keep on going?
No, I'm done, man. I had a couple of late nights these last couple of nights. I think I'm all talked out, man. We go 2 hours and 36 minutes. And I think my normal, I don't see Will B in here, so we could talk some military stuff. So that makes it a lot easier. I could bounce stuff off him. Wait, Will B, you in the house? I don't think he is. I haven't seen him at all today.
Well, appreciate everybody hanging around another 45 minutes or so and talking wrestling. And
Yeah,
always
that was fun.
remember and never forget what you gonna do when Eric Romo and the Los run wild